Act, its implications on digital information, and he's presently pursuing his PhD degree from Karnataka University, Dharwad. Mr. Irana Shetter is a deputy librarian and in charge for electronic resources at different capacities. He has served as IT consultant for many library automations and digital library initiatives, primarily academic and also public libraries. He is a life member to many professional associations and currently he is serving as a member Emerald's Library Advisory Board and member Cambridge University Press South Asian Librarian Advisory Board. He has delivered more than 20 invited talks, including Elsevier South Asian eBook Forum, Kala Endowment Lecture, BTU's Train the Trainer program, and also delivered lectures in more than 30 webinars. Mr. Irana Shetter has published over 35 research papers in various national and international journals of repute. He has also edited 2 books. He has been traveling to various countries. He has visited Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Thailand on various occasions for presenting his research papers. He has received several awards. He is one among the youngest library professionals to be recognized as one among the top 50 outstanding librarians across India by the Academic Council of ULETs in the year 2019. And he also has received the Best Young Librarian Award from Vertex Research, Trichy. Mr. Irana Shetter's areas of interest include scientometrics, knowledge management, digital library services, intellectual property rights, research ethics, and scholarly content publishing. With this introduction, I welcome Mr. Irana Shetter once again to this session. On behalf of Mangalore University, I extend a very cordial over to Mr.
Thank you, madam.
Thank
you. Madam, there is a small correction at the outset. Let me thank you for giving me this opportunity. As I discussed with Professor Islur, we have been covering some of his session also. So in that case, I will be covering more on a use of plagiarism software, Turnitin, Urkun, and other open software services tools today.
Yes, sir. That's
Hope
okay.
this is okay.
Yeah, it's fine for us.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah. So let me start with the caution because you are all budding research scholars. Some of you might be having a prior experience in research writing and all other things, but most of you, I believe, are just beginning your research career as a research scholars in Mangalore University. So there are 2 things I'm going to cover here today. The first one is the question which you need to think of when you are going to publish your research. When you conduct your research and when you want the whole world to know your research, then you have a little bit of cautions which I'm going to make you aware about such cautions. At the same time, I'm also going to tell you about some aid or helping hands to correct those. Naturally, some researchers may fall into those accidental areas as a researcher. So how you can make the correction to such unethical issues? So where it comes the role of plagiarism software. Okay, so let us begin. So I think Professor Islur has already covered. Madam, can you just confirm me my slide has got changed?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, madam. So you already know what is the origin of plagiarism and how it has evaluated its evolution in academia. So that I'm not going to cover you. But however, please note it down. The plagiarism means the kidnapping. So it will be treated academic crime if you include yourself in any plagiarism issue. So what is plagiarism? Plagiarism is a serious problem that has grown during the recent years. Do people believe this? It has been a recently grown years. Yes, it is, because earlier, do you think plagiarism was not existed? It was existed, but with the technical advancement, technological advancement has made it as a serious problem. Why? Because you are going to get a lot of your relevant materials via internet nowadays. Earlier, the accessibility to the information was not that so easy. Now, everything, every information in your research topic or in your research subject, all are in your fingerprints. It might be via through your library. There are a lot many other stuffs available on internet. So plagiarism has evolved as a very serious problem in academic research publication. So when it comes for the definition, so plagiarism is the appropriation of another person's ideas, processes, results, or words without giving appropriate credit. So how to give the appropriate credits? What is this another person's ideas? What if it is both are similar? How to do those things? All those things we are going to cover up in this presentation today. So plagiarism has got its own dimension. The first and foremost dimension to the plagiarism is it's a direct threat to the quality of education and the science. Why? Because a degree shall correspond to the knowledge and a skill of the students or research scholars and attributes that can't be acquired through cheating. Okay, because the whole world put a trust on you. The second dimension to the plagiarism, it talks on the same thing. Plagiarism undermines the trust that the world put on into the education and science, which is turn is a threat to the academic integrity. Because the whole world is trusting upon you. When you say you are a scholar, that's why the scholar means it has to be a without any cheating. If you cheat as a scholar, it's a threat to the academic integrity. And moreover, most importantly, plagiarism is a violation of the any author's copyright. Once you become author, you will certainly going to think about what is author's copyright. But as a beginner, I request you to kindly give respect to the another author's copyright. Okay, so what are the plagiarism in research happens? These are the some, it is not exhaustive, but these are the very important ones. The plagiarism research which is happening, that means the submit a paper or a dissertation thesis to be graded or a reviewed that you have not written on your own. Because we are living in an internet era, the thesis also can be downloaded from any source. It might be from other countries, university, these things. Everything is possible nowadays. So copy answers or a text from another classmate or submit it as your own. It will be treated as a plagiarism. Quote or a paraphrase from another paper without crediting the original author. Cite data without crediting the original source. When you are a science researcher, you know the value for the data. Okay, your lab data, your research data is very important.
So, sorry for the interruption. I think
yes.
we are not able to see your screen.
Let me do once again, madam.
Yes. Take your time.
Is it visible right?
Not yet, but I think, yeah, now it's fine.
Yes. Please let me update, madam. Sometimes yes. This Google is making such technical barriers. That's
I'll let you know if you have any issues.
So, purposefully another author's idea as your own idea presenting in that sense is also treated as a plagiarism in research. Fabricating the references or using the incorrect references. What is the importance for the references and citing? We'll let you know. But fabricating the references also without referring to the original paper, just copy pasting somebody else's references as your own references will also mislead into the plagiarism. Submitting someone else's presentation, program, spreadsheet, or other file with the or without some minor alteration will also be. And moreover, the most important threat it comes for the plagiarism. Madam, can you please confirm me the next slide has been moved?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. So when it comes for the plagiarism, so we as a academician, we have to think it in a two different way, whether it is an intentional plagiarism or it is unintentional plagiarism. When it comes for the intentional plagiarism means you wantedly done these things. So what are the some intentional plagiarism? The fabrication. The fabrication is making up the data or a result and recording or reporting them. That means without conducting the actual lab experiment, if you do present your data or results, it will be treated as a fabrication. Falsification. Falsification, when it comes for the social science researches, sometimes we conduct a lot of survey based researches without conducting the actual survey, or to prove that your hypothesis is being proved, we always get into this falsification. That is manipulating your research material or your research data. The plagiarism, which is the appropriation of another author's ideas, processes, results, or the words without giving the appropriate credit. And the more importantly, the fake pure reviews are treated as a intentional plagiarism. However, there are certainly some unintentional or accidental plagiarism we call. What is that? Failing to document or cite properly. Okay, you might be wondering, as a research scholars, I have, as a library professional, we always consult this Shodh Ganga. Okay, Shodh Ganga is the institutional India's repository for the thesis outputs of Indian universities. You might be wondering, more than 50% of the theses when we consult, that does not follow any citation styles. Okay, so it is very important, whenever you follow certain citation methodologies, you have to follow appropriately. You have to, there are a lot of citation styles. APA is there, IEEE is there, ACSC is there. Okay, so you have to, once you follow one thing, you have to follow certainly every references should be in that perfectly citation styles only. If you don't follow that, it will be treated as a failing to cite it properly. Okay, this will be as it is still plagiarism, but it is a unintentional or accidental. Unfamiliar with the international styles of citation, as I told you, APA is there, IEEE, ACS. Okay, there are a lot of more than 200 citation styles are there, but some importance are around 12 comes. You have to follow the prescribed. Your university might have prescribed, your institute might have prescribed, sometimes your guide might have prescribed you to follow certain international styles. When you go for the journal submission, journal paper submission, the journals clearly mentions which citation styles to be followed. So request you to kindly follow, get to understand the international styles of citations. And quoting excessively. When we say quoting can be avoided, okay, I'm going to come on that, but many people believe the quoting more than 50% of your thesis or your article will not prove it. Okay, there should be something new. Why quoting comes, I will tell you in a later presentation, later part of my presentation. Failing to use your own voice to present the information or ideas, because when you borrow somebody else's voice, it cannot be connected between your presentation and his presentation. And using minimal or the careless paraphrasing. To avoid this failing to use your own voice, you have to use the paraphrasing. But sometimes we use machine paraphrasing. I don't want to get into those things, but however, so your careless paraphrasing may lead you into the accidental plagiarism. And before we start getting to know, let me caution you about two important UGC regulations. The first one is UGC regulation, which is released in 2018, promotion of academic integrity and prevention of the plagiarism in higher education institutes, where I am highlighting very few important things. The first one is all quoted work reproduced with all necessary permission and or attribution should be, then only it will be excluded from the considering it for the plagiarism. So you have to, whenever you borrow somebody else's idea or somebody else's text, you have to use it in a quoted format. Okay, all the references, bibliography, table of content, preface, and acknowledgement should be excluded from the considering. So whenever you use references or bibliographies, table of contents, this will not be treated as a part of your thesis. It will be avoided when they calculate for the plagiarism. All generic terms, laws, standards, symbols, and standard equations should be excluded. This is a very important right which has been given to any faculty or research scholars when you submit your research article, when you submit your research thesis. Okay, these are the exclusions. And there is a note also: research work carried out by the student, faculty, researcher, and the staff shall be based on the original ideas, which shall include abstract, summary, hypothesis, and all those things. But last line, you just note it down: it shall exclude a common knowledge or a co-identical terms up to 14 consecutive words. Okay, if you are borrowing any content from somebody else's, if it is not 14 words, then it will be excluded. But any content which goes beyond 14 words, the whole sentence or whole paragraph will be treated as a plagiarized content. Okay, so a few of the examples to show you. I have taken a content from here. You might be knowing I have referred it very properly in both the cases. You can see here I have used the proper citation style for both. But still, when I use without quote, it will be treated as a plagiarized content. Okay, but at the same time, I am giving an attribution also. I have used it in a double quote. That means that it is being treated as a quoted content. Quoted content means it is not my words. Then it will be excluded from considering it as a plagiarized content. So whenever you borrow somebody else's idea or text, you have to use it in a quotation mark. At the same time, you have to give the citation. That means citation is an attribution to the original authors, has to be given. Okay. So one more example, any formula, if you are mathematical research scholars, you might be in physics or some engineering, you might be using a lot of formulas. Formulas, we are certainly going to use the similar formulas. So in that case, it will be treated as the most common knowledge. Okay, so it is treated as a mathematical formula and it will be excluded from the calculating your plagiarism content. And there are certainly another ledger accounting kind of a things that will also be again treated as these things. And electronic component symbols, I cannot define my own component symbols or scientific symbols. So your scientific symbols will also be treated as a non-plagiarized content. Okay, and there are certainly some common knowledges. Common knowledge in the science: the sun rises in the east. For everybody, the whole world knows it. Okay, this is not a new thing. But when I am using this in my thesis or in my article, so this is the most common knowledge. I cannot write it sun rises from the west because it is the most common knowledge. I will also use the same. You will also use the same word. So in that case, this will be treated as a common knowledge, and these things should be avoided when they calculate the plagiarism. Okay, in a similar way, any law or an act you are quoting, bibliographies, these things also be avoided. Okay, one more thing, the self-plagiarism. So we have already got to know the fabrication, falsification, and all other things. Self-plagiarism also is treated as a kind of a plagiarism, because copying material you have previously produced or passing it off as a new research output is considered as a self-plagiarism. So UGC also has a self-plagiarism regulation which has been released last year in 2020. There the acceptance is only 10%. Okay, so you can note it down, this self-plagiarism regulation. I request you to kindly go through it and get to know about what is considered and what not to be considered when your plagiarism software calculates your plagiarism percentage. Okay, so now it comes for the plagiarism detection software. So plagiarism detection softwares are nothing but a content similarity detection. Okay, when we are using the artificial intelligence, it is more like a text matching software. Okay, so it is not the artificial intelligence which is going to consider your meaning of your sentence and going to verify for that the meaning of the content. It will only matches the text to text. Okay, so that is called as a content similarity detection. Okay, is the process of locating instances of a plagiarism or copyright infringement within a work of a or a document. Okay, and many of you might be wondering why this plagiarism has considered now. Why not it was earlier? Earlier also there were plagiarism detection softwares, but those are in a form of humans. Your guides themselves, your peers are the most trusted plagiarism detection softwares earlier. Okay, so human detection is the most traditional form of identifying plagiarism from the written work. Okay, as I already told, this is the plagiarism detection softwares are nothing but a text matching software, which is also referred to as plagiarism detection software or a anti-plagiarism software. And a text matching software not actually detects the plagiarism, but instead it finds the specific passages of a text in a document that match text from another document. When you upload any of your document for the plagiarism detection, it is not going to match up the content. It is going to just do the text matching. That means what word you have used, what word the other content. So where this word has been used, this sentence has been used. So it will keep on tracking those things. Okay, that's why these are also called as text matching software. So some advantages with the text matching software or plagiarism detection softwares, it provides you the instant feedback. It allows you to correct your content. If it is a plagiarized, some instances have been noticed that your content has a similarity with some other documents, it will give you that feedback. So helps you to identify the plagiarism. Okay, so the possible plagiarism, accidental plagiarism, intentional plagiarism also can be identified with these softwares. Engages researchers to make concerted efforts to improve the research writing. Identifies the different words which have been added, deleted, or substituted. Even this artificial intelligence is so much strong nowadays. Even sometimes we use paraphrasing. If there is a 5 words sentence is there, we consider to retain 3 words and we would like to replace some 2 words with the similar alternative wordings. Okay, synonyms we use. Then also your plagiarism detection softwares are that much strongly programmed that it could able to identify which new word in that sentence has been added, which word has been deleted, and which word has been substituted with the synonym or the similar word. These plagiarism detection softwares can identify these things also. And it will also do the citation verification, whether the properly it has been cited or not. There are certain limitations. It cannot identify plagiarism from a non-online resources because there might be the original resources which are published previously, which is not digitally converted or digitally born. So those things it cannot verify, and has a problem with the mathematical formula. Sometimes it shows it as a plagiarism, but however, the human intervention is also required when they calculate the final similarity index. Okay, sometimes it is having the problems because in place of multiplication we use x, so in that it will not be treated as a formula. So sometimes it will be considered as a wordings because when you are not using the proper mathematical formulas, for example, in that case the latex is going to help you, but if you are doing it in a word, it is going to be a little problematic with the softwares to understand. Okay, so it distorts the format of the original documents like graphs, images, but to tell you nowadays it could able to identify also the images, because there are certainly advanced softwares are coming in. So images can also be verified with such plagiarism detection softwares. But in most of the softwares we use, there the graphs and images cannot be verified. Okay, does not differentiate between the quoted material and original writing at a times. So in that case, as the final person who is going to calculate the plagiarism percentage, he has to intervene here and he has to consider whether the material has been quoted or not, because as a software, some software does not support such system. Okay, so let us come to the types of plagiarism detection softwares. So plagiarism detection software tools cannot stop or prevent the plagiarism, but it is certainly going to help you to find or detect the sources of the contents which are matching. Okay, so there are three types of plagiarism detection softwares are available. The first one is fully free, that is called open source plagiarism detection software. There are freemium, which is free plus premium. Certainly some modules or some features are available in a free version only, and certainly the advanced features will be available with the paid premium only. So this we call it as a partial open source plagiarism detection softwares. And finally the paid or a commercial ones. Okay, so let us start with the first plagiarism detection software, which is a free ones, that is open source software. This is called plagiarism checker. Okay, especially when it comes for the free plagiarism detection softwares, this always comes with some limitation. In the same way, this plagiarism checker software has a limitation of 1,000 words per search. Okay, and it also exclude the specific URL. That means sometimes if you know you want to exclude certain URL, you can do that thing. And this particular open source software supports .text, .txt, .doc, .docx, ODT, PDF, RTF file formats. Okay, so this can help you in initial plagiarism checking purpose. It is not 100% fully foolproof, but however you can make a best use of it. The second one is a duplicate checker. Duplicate checker also has a limitation of 1,000 words per search. This also supports you in a different types of file formats. And one more good thing about this particular open source plagiarism detection software is it can check the plagiarism via web page URL. For example, if you are publishing any of your blogs or your website, you want to go for the plagiarism check of your website. In that case, you can make a best use of this particular open source software. So here it comes one more open source software, that is called Plagiarisma. Plagiarisma is also a free open source software which allows you to paste and check plagiarism via web page URL. This also supports a lot of file formats. One important file format is PPT. Your PPT can also be verified. Your Excel files, your ODT files, your EPUB files. So it supports a lot of different file formats, but one important is PPTs, because most of the open source softwares does not support PPTs to verify the plagiarism, but this particular open source software supports it. So here it comes, the one more open source software, which is called search engine reports. This is highly recommended if you are a beginner at the researcher stage and your university is not allowing you to use the their plagiarism detection software. So before you submit any of your research output, your articles to your guide, I request you to kindly go through this website. Even please upload your thesis here, your article here, or copy and paste it here. It can help you because it will support you up to 2,000 words at any given point of time. You can also check it out here, the report format also. It is very wonderfully presented here, that how much percentage has been checked, what is the plagiarism percentage, and what is the unique percentage. It will also give the source level description. So what is the percentage of plagiarized content is coming from which source? You can see here the understanding plagiarism is that from that particular site, the 75% of my test content has been taken. The remaining ones from other PDF file. So it will give you the original sources where it has been coming from. So you can make a best use of this. This is also again highly recommended, which is called EduBird. EduBird is also very wonderfully present its similarity percentage. You can see here my test content has been very decided that my plagiarism content is the 56 percentage. Okay, you can also see at the corner it is giving 22.2% is coming from one URL, 18.6 coming from another URL, 17.2 coming from. So you can identify certainly from where this content has been coming. This is again one more very important free and open source software to detect the plagiarism called plagiarismdetector.net. This is also very wonderful site to verify. This supports 3 file formats, that is txt, doc, docx, and limitation is very minimal, that is 1000 words per search. And one more good thing about this particular software is it supports 12 different languages. But when it comes for the Indian languages, it supports only Hindi as on date. So here it comes the freemium. When I say freemium, certain features are for the free users and certainly certain other features are for the paid versions of the same plagiarism software. Okay, so plagiarism, supports a free plagiarism check for teachers. You can create your own account here, and if you are a teacher, you have to provide the institutional identity card as well as your institutional email ID. So it supports the free plagiarism checking for them. And for the registered professors, it will help to check up to 20 documents and see up to 20 similarity reports per month for free. Okay, you can see here for the premium educators, it gives quick plagiarism check, detailed plagiarism check, plagiarism report, web database, database of scholarly article, real-time check and everything. But when it comes for the simple registered user, it only gives the quick plagiarism check. So here also one more is called Plagium. The Plagium is also the freemium, though it gives the only up to 1000 words for free and multiple times searches is possible. Okay, and it supports English, French, Portuguese, and other languages. One more is called DupliChecker. DupliChecker is a freemium one. It provides over 50 scans for a duplicate content each day. Okay, and each search is limited up to 1000 words only. And you require to create a free account to have more than one search per day. Okay, when I say 50 scans, if you have the account, you can every day 50 times you can 1000 words per searches. One more called is PaperRater, which is also freemium one, the open source software. You can see here the what is the difference between the premium and basic version. 5 pages per submission, and per month it will only search from per IP 50 times only, and plagiarism checks per month is 10 only per month. So Quitex is another freemium. Here you can check up to 5 pages, 2500 words, and it also gives very wonderful color grade feedback and contextual analysis. As much more I could able to see the in freemium, this is very wonderful presentation of the similarity index. Here it comes one more plagiarism checker X. It is software based or app based. You can download that software and it supports 30 searches daily. Okay, and limited words. CopyLeaks is again the paid ones. It supports multi-language capabilities. You can compare the two files. one more called Viper Plagiarism Checker. I think initially it was free. Now it has been made as the paid or commercial. Dilbit is again one more Indian software which is a paid or commercial. But the problem here is you cannot just upload and get the plagiarism check. It will allow you to submit your, after the payment, along with the payment receipt, you can submit your article or your document through email and they will send you the report back. So this is one more called CFP. If any research scholar who is working in vernacular language, especially if anybody, any research scholars who is doing their research in a Kannada medium, they can get a help from this particular software because this particular software supports Indian languages. That is called CFP. So here it comes, the most important and highly used plagiarism detection softwares in India. As I have only 20 minutes of time, so there are three important ones. The first one is the Turnitin. There is one more called iAuthenticate. iAuthenticate was not listed, but very important if you are a science researchers. Why? I will tell you in my presentation. And the third and most important is Show the Shuddhi. Show the Shuddhi is nothing but original. Original is nothing but the previously the Urkund has been recently renamed as the original. Okay, so we are going to cover these three most important plagiarism detection softwares. Okay, as I am lacking of the time, so I'm not going to cover up the practical demonstration of these softwares. If time permits, at the end of your all planned sessions, we can consider one practical demonstration. But however, I have taken some of these screenshots how you can analyze the reports and all other things, because it will take a lot of time to upload a thesis and wait for the report. So here it comes the Turnitin. Turnitin is very highly used, globally used plagiarism detection software. Okay, at a global level, when it comes for the plagiarism detection, there is no competition for the Turnitin, but they are highly priced. That's why most of the universities are not providing these. But however, this is most trusted plagiarism detection softwares in a globally academic era. Okay, so this is how the once you log in with the Turnitin, it is the file uploading format. You can see here how to upload and all other things. It will ask you for your first name, your last name, submission title for the for your document. You can select the doc like how you attach in your email ID. Just browse it and it. Once it is uploaded, you can click on upload button here provided. And once you click on the upload, it will give you the basic information about the file which you have uploaded. That means some the information which you have given is the first name, the surname, the assignment title. But when it comes for the Turnitin, it gives you back what is the file name of the thesis, document which you uploaded, file size, pages, number of pages, number of words, and number of characters. And then you can click on the confirm. So once it is confirmed, so it will generate the report. This is the sample, not the report at a beginning, but it is a initial percentage similarity index. You can see here there are different percentages are there. With the percentage, there is a color code. So why this color code has been used? Because when you upload any article or a document into Turnitin, it will gives you the similarity percentage. At the same time, it gives you the color code. In a color code, when it comes, there is no matching. That is 0% similarity. It gives you in a blue color. And if any similarity index is 1 to 24, it gives you a green color, 25 to 49 yellow, 50 to 74 orange, and 75 to 100% is red. But it is most important, your color code should not go beyond green. Okay, because when it comes for the science and science, technology, and medical research, the acceptance of any similarity index by the journals is maximum is 20%. Nobody goes beyond 20 to 25%. Okay, and for the conferences, it is up to 30 to 35%. So, however, please keep your limit from 1 to 20 only. And one more thing, when it comes for the Turnitin, okay, as I have told, the multiple quotations is not allowed, even according to the UGC regulation of 2018. Turnitin can easily identify this. It will give you the question over there. If you click, it will show you have excluded quoted material, and more than 30% of the text in this paper is quotes. You can see here the artificial intelligence is that much strong in this software, so it could able to identify what is the percentage of quoted materials. Okay, we recommend viewing this paper with the quoted material included, and to re-include quoted material in this paper, please use the filters and the setting menu, how to avoid those things and all other things. However, the 45% of the content has been considered as a plagiarism. In that also, the 30% of the text is in a quotation mark. Okay, so it gives you the questions like this. And this is how the Turnitin report gives you in particular document, it is giving 69% of the similarity, and it will also go up to the source level percentage. For example, the first source, okay, which is a student paper submitted to some university. From there, the text is coming 11%. So some other university student paper, it is coming 7%. Internet source is a 5%. Okay, like this, it will identify different sources and what is the percentage. You can also see the color code which has been highlighted here in the report. That means the list number, the reference listed in a similarity index, the 13th index is from where this paragraph has been coming from. Okay, so you can easily identify from which source this text is coming from, and you can correct yourself. Okay, and as I have told you, some settings like as per the UGC regulations, your quotations content in any quotes is excluded, so you can exclude that thing. And it is also given you the bibliography should not be considered. Yes, you can do that. You can exclude the bibliography, and I have also read a note over there. The up to 14 consecutive words, the sources can be excluded. Yes, that also you can do. I have selected the 14 words here. So more than 14 words from any text content will be considered. If any content which is below 14 words will not be treated as a plagiarism. So this is how you can download, and this is how you will get your plagiarism detection originality report or a similarity index report in a Turnitin. Okay, it can be downloaded from in the form of PDF, and you can share with your research guide or else your co-authors like that. Okay, so here comes the one more very important plagiarism detection software, which is called iAuthenticate. Why iAuthenticate is very important for the science researchers, because most of the highly acknowledged publishers like Elsewhere, IOP, Core, Future Academy, even Springer, most of them, they use iAuthenticate. Okay, iAuthenticate is a subsidiary of a Turnitin. If you are using Turnitin, that means it is a similar these things, but for the commercial these things, it is very wonderfully has been made. Once you log into iAuthenticate, the look and feel is like this. You can see here also they use the percentage and everything. So I will not get into deeper in this particular software. So this is how it gives you the report. Okay, whenever it goes beyond 40, it will highlight you that percentage. Okay, so you can download. This is again the similarity in a report thing is much more similar to Turnitin. So this here also you can download it in a PDF format. Here it comes, when you are a research scholar in Mangalore University, your final thesis will be verified for the plagiarism on Shodha Shuddhi. You might be wondering, what is Shodha Shuddhi? Wow, in our this chapter listing, Show the Shuddhi is not listed. Show the Shuddhi is a service provided by the Implement Center, okay, and it gives you the access to plagiarism detection software, which all of us know is Urkund. Previously, it was Urkund. Now it is called as Original. They rebranded their product. Now they call it as a Original. Okay. Even though their URL has been changed, even still, any of you use https://www.urkund.com, it will be redirected to the original.com. Okay. So here I will give a more depth to this search. So once you click on the login, it will land up into this page. Here it comes. Two logins comes. Out of one is for the users and other one is for the admin panel. So let's not concentrate on the admin panel. You have to click on the login to web inbox. That is for global. Okay, click over there. So then it will ask you for the login credentials. Okay, you have to put your login credentials. Then click login. Okay, if it is through infeed, then it will help you to identify with the infeed. Otherwise, directly enter your username and password provided by your Urkund or a university Show the Shuddhi coordinator. University coordinators are there. That might be mostly your dean research or your librarian. Okay, they can help you to get this. Otherwise, your faculty can also approach the university coordinators for this account. Okay, so you have to enter your username and enter the password. It will land up here. Okay, so here it will, once you log in, it will allow you to create a folder or upload your document directly. But I suggest you to create a folder because it will help you to track your research. Okay, so you can create the folder. Click here, then create the folder, give the folder name. Okay, once your folder name as the folder is being created, click there. Again, you will within the folder you will see the upload documents. Okay, so you can click on the upload documents, click on upload files. You can select just like how you attach your email attachments to your email. In the similar way, select them, click on open. Okay, so but here most importantly, there are two IDs for this Urkundara original. One is a submitter ID, which any of the research scholar can get it from your faculty or your university coordinator. Okay, so it is a decision by your institute authority or your university authority whether they are going to give you the submitter ID or the analyzer ID. Okay, mostly the students will get the submitter ID. So you have to, if you are a submitter, you will not get the default analysis address here. You have to ask them for the analysis address. So analysis address looks like this. For example, here plagiarism.check for nitka@analysis.urkund.com. For any analyzer account, okay, this analysis address will be different. If it has been shared by your faculty, so your faculty can see your plagiarism report. If it is being provided by your university coordinator, only they can see. You can just upload, but for the final report, you have to go over there only. And after that, once you select the analysis address, you have to enter the subject and a message. It is not mandatory, but however, to track your versions of the files which you have uploaded, better to use these things. Then click on the upload file. Once it is uploaded, you can also see upload started here. And once it is being uploaded, you can see what is the percentage and all other things, percentage of a uploading process. 76% of article has been uploaded here. And once the submission has been done, then it will show you the submission ID. Submission ID is very important. In case in the future, if you want to get it deleted, you have to submit it to your university coordinator with the submission ID only. Then only your university coordinator could able to successfully delete it from the inbox. Otherwise, it is very difficult to track any articles. So whenever you submit, so please note it down your submission ID. And the moment you get submitted, one confirmation receipt will come to your email ID. Okay, this is how it looks like. So once you're done with the your uploading, give this software time. Sometimes it will come along with the similarity percentage. You could able to see here there are multiple documents have been uploaded. Some are 13%, some are 5% based on the content which it has been used. Okay, now let's try to understand how it works. Okay, if I have been wanted to analyze the basic information in this particular PDF, so it has been 13% of the similarity has been identified. Okay, how many number of words it is giving, submission ID. Okay, largest match 85%, the largest match in a word count 281. Okay, this is the largest match, 281 consecutive words. As I have told, up to 14 is excluded, and more than 14, that means up to 281 words from a one particular document is being copied or used in this particular document. Okay, and here it comes the analysis overview. Once you click on the analysis overview, that is the percentage mark over there, it will land up into this analysis overview. You can see here two different color. One is a violet color and the other one is a orange color. The orange color is the similarity. Then what this purple color is being given. Purple color means is a question here. It is a warnings. Some unusual use of the characteristics has been traced here. Okay. Sometimes what happens? So unethical practices are there. I don't want to disclose those things. So they use. So, but your software is that much of strong that it could able to identify some unethical ways of avoiding plagiarism. Okay. So there are 85 warnings are there, 273 matching text are there. Okay, once you click there on a percentage 273, it will give you the submitted document, which is your own document uploaded and matching text. Okay, you can see here the matching text also from which source it is coming. For example, this particular piece of information is coming from a document which is located in a research gate. Okay, not only up to there, it is showing two alternative sources also. That means it might be uploaded in a multiple domains like a research gate, the publisher website, or some institutional repository also. Okay, so nearest one is the research gate because it is most widely and most commonly used, so it is showing. So two alternative sources also you can identify. Okay, you can also see here, I have told you some number words are being deleted, some words are being added, all those things are identified here. You could able to see here the small signal studies are initially implemented for the traditional DC-DC converters in 1980s. That was the sentence which is uploaded in your document. But in a matching text, when it comes, the small signal studies are here. The new word which has been added, it is in a pink color. You can see the initially word is being added. Okay. At the similar time, similarly, you can see at the third text sentence, it provides the deterministic approach to evaluate the performance of the converter under. Okay, this is in a matching text, but here there is no converter. Okay, like that it will identify new words are being added, new word or words deleted, all those things will be identified. At the similar time, if you want to go through all the sources, I don't want to go by the text by text. I want to see the which sources, from which sources this content is being coming from. That also you can do. Click on sources at the About tab. It will show you the list of the sources. You can see here this for this particular document, 5.56% of a journal article. You can see the J as being used. Journal article which is published in Taylor Francis and which ID, title and everything is coming here. So from this source, your 5.56% is coming from, and there are 87 matching text blocks are there. Okay, so you can visit that, you can correct it. Even archive.org, from this particular website, 1.47% of your text document is coming from. So like this, you can identify and correct your document to avoid the plagiarism for the final submission. You can also see here, once you click on the sources, the primary sources is Taylor and Francis. However, alternative sources, there might be a text content which are used, the same text which is coming from IEEE. IEEE also is being tracked with the 0.61%, and there is one more website or one more journal, web journal, which is coming from there. 1.76% of the text similarity is coming from. Okay, so you can exclude, as I have told you, there are certainly certain things which are allowed by the UGC with the regulation. Madam, give me another 2-3 minutes, sir. I will complete it.
Yes, sir. Yes, please take it.
So you can exclude the primary sources. Like that, there are some exclusions which are given in a UGC regulations, like up to 14 words. There are mathematical formulas can be excluded. All those things. Some exclusions which I have already listed in my previous slides, you can do. But here it has to be done by the person who undertake the analysis of the report. Okay. So you can also see the entire document wherever the similarity is being identified. It gives with the color code, and you can download the similarity report for your references, which it comes in a PDF form, just like however you can see it in a website. Okay. So with this this demonstration we'll do, in if time permits, at the end of all your sessions we'll do one practical session if required. Otherwise this is sufficient, I believe, but however I leave up to you people. And this comes to the end of your original or a Orkun software, plagiarism detection software. And how to avoid plagiarism, this is one simple slide. Just simply be honest, understand what is plagiarism is and how to detect and how to avoid. So now we covered how to detect and how to avoid. Professor Islur will cover you up, and he may give you the best practices to avoid the plagiarisms. Okay, and very importantly, as a librarian, I mostly trust upon this particular sentence. Read very carefully the guidelines for writing thesis, dissertation, research papers, research and result reporting. Okay, please read it very carefully, guidelines. Most of the times, because I am the managing editor for a couple of journals where we usually reject paper at the initially only, because it does not follow the guidelines of the journals. Even your university might be having the guidelines for your research thesis. So kindly follow these guidelines and must familiarize yourself with the subject and the research area. How? Please visit your library. Go read, read, read. The more you read, more you will get familiarized with your subject and the research area. And please must know the resource at your disposal. How to get? Please refer the most important research article in your research topic and the references. Okay, there are only some 3-4 articles you identify. It is more relevant to your research topic. You please make it as your guidelines. Okay, so please get to know what are the resources. Go visit their references. Identify the much more similar articles which are published in that particular research topic or a research problem, and acknowledge the authors of the original workers you have used, and know how to cite the sources, and most importantly, understand what does not need to be cited. Okay, as I have told you, some things as like a common knowledge is formulas, mathematical symbols, all those things does not require to be cited. Okay, so here with this I came to end of my presentation, but however let me acknowledge the people who are contributed preparing this presentation. I have taken it from the different sources. I have acknowledged in all my slides, but however if any links or any omissions of the references duly regretted, and I acknowledge thanks the various content creators and owners whose contents are being used in this particular presentation. Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, Mr. Irena Shetter. Your lecture has been very informative and resourceful. We have learned so many aspects of plagiarism check softwares that are available. Maybe we'll address some questions, if at all we have.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah. Anybody who wants to ask, please unmute yourself and interact.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Jay Prakash. Thank you for such a wonderful, informative session. I have a small question.
Yes,
Is it safe to use, free plagiarism software? Because you have, showed some of the free plagiarism software's names and all. So, is there any problem by uploading our content into those softwares? Is it safe? Our contents are safe?
Not at all, not at all, because most of these free open source software, they does not supported with the database which you upload, because for that they need a lot of investment which they are not going to do it, and most of the times these are just copy paste. Okay, you are not going to upload the theses or your documents. It is up to 1,000 words. Okay, 1,000 words, copy and paste it. Certainly, it is not going to store it in their index. But when it comes for the Turnitin or for the Urkun software, certainly I suggest, unless and until it is a final version, please do not store it in any of the archives.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So what would be this subscription fee, sir, for the institution generally for these highly recommended softwares?
Madam, Urkun, anyway, your university has it as a part of Shoda Sindhu, this thing. Your university coordinator might be your librarian.
Yes, sir.
So you please approach him. All the faculty should have that thing, because to help your research scholars. And moreover, for the Turnitin, it depends on the number of users.
How many users are allowed if the institution?
No, madam. For the institutional, these things earlier they used to give us 1,000, 100 like that. But now they are getting the actual user strength. It might be a student to research scholars and a faculty on NIRF website. So they are treating it all the users as your actual users.
Oh.
For NITK earlier we had only 500 licenses. Okay. But they are forced us to go for the 5,000. But however, we negotiated up to 3,000, madam.
Okay, that's good.
Because they have a lot of monopoly.
Yeah.
So that's the case.
A lot of practical training will help, I think, and I hope we'll be able to take up in the next classes.
Sure.
So if there are no questions right now, we'll move on to the second session. I thank Dr. Mr. Irena Shetter for the very informative talk and a lot of information about the plagiarism detection softwares, the various features, advantages, limitations you have made us aware of. And I'm sure if we make use of the tools that are made available to us, we'll never be accused of this plagiarism when we publish. Could be thesis or research articles. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for
on
this
behalf
opportunity.
of Mangalore University, I wholeheartedly thank Mr. Irena Shetter for your talk. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Allow me to leave?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, madam.
Yes. So we'll move on to the second talk of the session. We have with us Professor Chandrasekhar AM of Mysore University. Namaste, sir. Namaste. On behalf of IKC, Mangalore University, I extend a very warm and cordial welcome to Professor Chandrasekhar, sir. Welcome you, sir.
Namaste, ma'am. Welcome. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Dr. Chandrasekhar is going to speak to us on open access publishing for the next 1 hour. I would like to place before you resume of Professor Chandrasekhar. He is a professor in the Department of Library and Information Science, University of Mysore, Manasa Gangotri. And when I see his biodata, I can see that he has a lot of links with Mangalore. He has started his profession as a librarian in various institutions in Mangalore, and especially during 1993 to 94, he has served Mangalore University as temporary lecturer. We are happy to have him as a resource person for this research and publication ethics course. And during 94, he has joined Mysore University, and he has served Mysore University till date. Uh, he has been serving. And during the year 2011, he has been elevated to the cadre of professor. Professor Chandrasekhar has a lot of academic experience, a lot of administrative experience as well. He has been the director of Information and Communication Division, coordinator of e-procurement cell, coordinator of e-governance. He has been the system analyst at the University of Mysore. He has been the director of Center for Information and Center for Information Science and Technology. He has been the chairman of the Department of Library and Information Science. Professor's area of specialization are ICT applications to LICs, library automation and networking, cataloging metadata, information sources, research methodology, management of LICs. Professor Chandrasekhar has many recognitions and awards to his credit. He has received 4 national awards and 1 regional award. He has received the Karnataka State Award from Government of Karnataka in 2015 in the occasion of centenary celebration of public libraries in Karnataka. He has guided more than 15 students for their PhD. He has over 100 publications in reputed journals and equal number of papers in conference proceedings. He has authored 3 books, edited 6 books. He's in the editorial board of various bodies, International Journal of Interdisciplinary Current Advanced Research, AELPRO Bulletin, Kerala Library Professionals Organization, Thiruvananthapuram, Editorial Board of Journal of Advances in Library and Information Sciences. Is in the editorial team of the Journal of Media and Social Development and Abhyudaya newsletter of Mysore, published by University of Mysore. He has successfully completed various projects of UGC and other sponsoring agencies. He has conducted many conferences. He has been the resource persons at various conferences and delivered invited talks. I'm extremely happy that Professor Chandrasekhar, in spite of his busy schedule, has accepted our invitation, and he is here with us to share his knowledge on the topic of open access publishing. On behalf of IQAC Mangalore University, on behalf of Mangalore University, I wholeheartedly welcome Professor Chandrasekhar to this session, and I request Professor Chandrasekhar to deliver his talk. Over to you, sir. Over to
Okay,
you.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for inviting me as a resource person for the PhD coursework. This is a nice occasion I got to discuss with the various the PhD scholars. I thank particularly this Professor Selection Madam as well as the university authorities for giving me, inviting me as a resource person. So let us start. My topic this assigned by the ma'am is on open access publishing. So open access publishing as well as this is a publication ethics. Today this 3 to 4 this ma'am has assigned open access publishing that I'll take you. I'll upload this one. Screen. Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, this is audible. This is my voice is audible, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible and we can see the screen.
Yes, open access publishing.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not in the full screen mode. It's not in the
Yes,
slideshow
I
mode,
will do
but
that.
we are able
Okay.
to see. Yeah.
How it is coming, no?
Yes, it's fine now.
Yes.
It's fine.
Good afternoon, all of you. This is today I am going to present a talk on open access publishing. The outline of this my presentation is open access publications, open access initiatives, and also as per the syllabus given by ma'am, and Sharp and Romeo, this online resource check publisher that I will take you later, and also this software tool to identify predatory publications and journal finders, etc. And first, I'll concentrate only on the two aspects. Open access publication means what, the definitions, all that, and the benefits of this open access publications and also the open access initiatives. So outcomes, what you can learn here, this from my this presentation is I'll tell you about this. I already mentioned that what do you mean by open access origin and the timelines of its evolution, etc. And also this some of the familiar with some of the open access resources today. Then, as you're well aware that this is actually you are in coursework. I think more than this 100 people, this research scholars are attending this my class online. Okay, this is one, and you are well aware that almost all the universities are offering this the PhD coursework. In that, the one paper is the research ethics. Okay, research ethics is one of the important aspects because this is given by research and the publication ethics given by this university, this MHRD. Okay, means the UGC. So this, as you well aware that higher education system in India, this how it is, because as of 2020, India has over 1,000 universities with a breakup of approximate 40,000 the colleges, and central university we can see I think 54, 416 state universities, 125 deemed universities, 361 private universities, and 7 institutes of under the state legislative act. And also apart from this, we can also see this 159 institution of national importance, which include this IAC. First, IAC comes first because they are doing a lot of work in INR ranking. Also, this IAC stands first. And after that, there are many this IITs also there, IIMs also there, National Institute of Technologies, and the many this prestigious research centers are established by the CSIR and other this, institutions or the bodies, I think national bodies throughout India. So in India itself, I told almost this more than 1,000 universities are there. They are, and there are many research centers are there. All these are producing a lot of this publications, as you know. They are seriously conducting the research. You are well aware that one IAC and IITs are top in that. They are producing means the research scholars like you, research scholars, as well as the teachers or scientists who are working in that universities as well as institutions. They are doing a lot of work, okay, in research, and through that they are bringing a lot of publication. So think about this is about the scenario of India. Then what will be the world? What this world? There are many institutions are there. It means higher education institution. What I am talking, more than this 3197 universities from all over the world are existing today. So higher education system, I already told these are the many institutions are available. Why I am telling all this? Because the main aim of the higher education is teaching, research, and the publication. So that's why not only this that we are concentrating the teaching, but also the research and the publication is the part and parcel of our work, I can say. Here, academic and the research excellence is another important thing. Students, researchers, how knowledgeable they are and getting this better jobs, because we are the producing this the students, we are teaching them, and we are this sharing the knowledge with them and how to conduct the research, all this, because we means the teachers, I can say, and these are all we are doing, okay, because the final this motto of this is getting better job, okay, to the students as well as the students as well as researchers. Teachers what they can do to, through teaching, research and the publication in reputed journal, because along with that I told the teaching they have to do a lot of other work, the research and the publication, because this is more important, because the research and publication in reputed journals. This will help in many cases, and institutions also stressing towards that, MHRD is also stressing towards that, okay, that, and NIRF, all this NIRF ranking of the NAC grades are mainly given based on the research productivity of their teachers as well as researchers like you. So present education system also stressed upon this, particularly NEP. They are given this more opportunity for how to increase your research, everything. The new job, the placement promotions, everything, we can see this will be helpful this in many ways. Your publication, if you are bringing the publication there, that will helpful to you in many ways, particularly new job placements as well as getting the promotions. And another, for every professional development, we need this research and publication. I can say this, it is not only helpful for the development of the this institution, but also helpful for the development of the country. Okay, each country's development mainly depends upon its research and development. Okay, research, how this researchers or scientists are doing the research, based on that the university will be gauged how it is, whether it is because developed or rich or poor, everything. Because this is if this country is developed, then their research output is more, the publication is more. You can see. Coming to this, I think two, three slides, I'll give the background information about this. You are well aware because you have heard that on how the research public and this life cycle is going, the ideas are coming, and you're the partners and the proposal writing, and finally you bring the publication. Because if you have come, I have come to the publication means I have seen this the previous process. Because ideas coming in mind, how the ideas are coming by reading this the reading or the study of what the earlier this research. How, for that we, what we have to do, we have to do this review of literature, okay, review of related to literature, that identify this one, this broader area of the topic area at first, and after that we can, after collecting this, collating and studying, you can this finding the gap, okay, gap between this that we can identify a particular this topic. This is what we can do. So research process is that way, and it is I told this it is ideas, partners, research proposal writing, and then research proposal. Next you have to do after this you are this completing your PhD coursework, and you have to attend the class. This is what we call examination you have to take. Then what you have to do, this next process is the research and this is preparing this proposal writing. Here it simulate, experiment and observe and manage the data and analyze the data, share the data. Because here the research process what will be coming, you can see it is I already told, collect this necessary or background information, okay, about that on that particular topic, I can say. Simulate, and it is experiment and observe, because you have to do this many experiment, and the observation is also very important. And then you can do the research. How you know that? One, you are doing the research in various ways. If you are social science, you can do this through collecting the data by this questionnaire or interview or this observation. In the, that is in the scientific research, it is mainly based on it is a pure research. I can say it is you can do based on this experiment, laboratory. That you can do. After that, what you have to do, manage the data. Okay, then analyze the data, then share the data, because these are the things you have to do. So this is what this that previous slide is that I have given here in a elaborate way. This proposal, planning, writing, project startup, data collection, data analysis, data sharing, end of this project. Okay, this is that one. And then in between, what you are doing, this bringing this many publications. Okay, so this is one I told. Opening up the research life after that, or while doing your research, what you are doing this, you are bringing many publications. Okay, many publications. I know I told this idea. I told the idea. But from where you can get the idea, because nowadays wikis are there, blogs are there, social medias are, internet is there. So all this will help along with this traditional learning. Okay, so through that, and also these peers or the colleagues or the teachers or your supervisor, your guide, all these people will help, or they will from there you can get a very good idea. Okay, so methodology I already told: experiment, interview, observation, and workflow management system, etc. Then next, this data collection. This is also in a nutshell. I already explained: numbers, codes, text, image, sound, record, whatever it may be, and versioning, control, storage, and the management of this data. Because in the laboratory, particularly in the chemistry, that belongs to chemistry all the time. You have to be in the chemistry laboratory, because there you have to do this lot of work. Okay, so that that way you can collect this data. Okay, this is what experimental data, what we can say. And analyzing after that, this is more important. For that you can use some statistical, this what you call this methods also, or the tools I can say. Interactive computing and statistics, process analysis, documentation, everything is required here. Okay, then finally what you can do, this publishing. Okay, the publishing. Okay, this is what the one topic, because here publishing in various forms, in the journal article or the dissertations or the book, source code, etc. because etc. So this is what we can see. Publication in what forms it is, okay, what types of the output could be the research produce or the researcher produce. One I already told. While doing this your research itself, you can present your papers in the conferences. Okay, conferences, isn't it? Because there is a starts from the zero and then because ends. Okay. So again, it is a research. Any scientific research or any research it is a continuous process, because we cannot start from the zero, because it is a we have seen this previous research. Previous researchers what they have conducted research, how they have conducted this one, all these things you have to do. You have seen that one. So, what types of the output could be researcher produce? Is it because they can write on the blogs, technical reports, or the book chapters, or they can write this newspapers or the magazine articles they can, and the reports, okay, reports, or the conferences. While doing this conference, while doing this research, first and foremost, almost all these researchers are trying to publish their articles in or the papers in the conferences. So they will bring the conference organizers. They will bring this conference proceedings in that our this publications will be this publishing. Okay, and data sets. And after that, only this researcher will concentrate only on the journal or publishing their articles on journals. Okay, journals. Journalists in the sense, you know that one now, this reputed journal, international reputed journal, peer-reviewed journals, in that we have to this, you have to get targeted. Okay, because why? Because then only they will consider our publication. Okay, this I'll tell you later. And the working reports, and then this monographs. And sometimes, you know, if you're getting this degree, finally what we do now, you can bring a report. This is in the form of either this thesis. Okay, here this they are calling the thesis. Okay, in the Western countries they are calling as a dissertation, because we are using the term dissertation for this MPhil. Okay, MPhil or this master degree. Internationally, this dissertation is the reputed term, okay, or accepted terminology. So, origin of this is the science communication. All these are you are doing this one because a lot of the research you are doing, I told, and this should be properly communicated. This is more important. Any of the scientific research, that should be communicated. In that regard, many have tried, particularly the Royal Society of London and many organizations tried their level best from the 16th century onwards. The first journal, that one, Journal des Cavans. The Journal des Cavans. This is Monday, 5th January 1665 by Denis de Sola in France. 12 pages, a quarto pamphlet he mentioned. And second journal published this philosophical transaction of the Royal Society of London. This is in the February 6th, March 1665 by Henry Oldenburg in London. So then, this is one, this I can say this is when this journal has started. And the peer review, okay. Here this communicating or the publishing your this research outputs or the results of your research in the scientific literature. Okay, here building the body of scientific literature is very important, and the scientific reputation, because everyone is trying for that only, scientific reputation, for getting this the reputation in the particular field. Okay, increase the status of the individual or the institution or the university's research, because I already told how this if you have contributed the research publications, then it will be not only helpful to this you but also the institute or this university. So after that, we can see this origin of later, this in the initial stages, just this all this scientific publications were published in some of the journals. Very few journals we can see, and recently there are many journals are available. That you know that one. Okay, what are the reasons for that? So earlier this serial crisis, now evaluating this. This is a Hercules task, I can say. Origin of the metrics also started, citation index. This is the Eugene Garfield in the Philadelphia in 1956. This is one of the important development what I can say. Institute of Scientific Information Philadelphia, and that Eugene Garfield was working. He started this citation indexing. What you are seeing now, your publications should be indexed in either Web of Science, Scopus, etc. This is what we call this citation index databases. Okay, so this has been given by this Nobel person. And this emergence of the internet, you know that when internet is mainly this one of the important technology that helped in many ways for our publication, for scholarly communication. Okay, emergence of internet. Internet started in the year 1969 through this ARPANET projects. Okay, DARPA. So after that, you know that one, the many this tools and the technologies have been developed on in the internet. Okay, that you know that one. Nowadays, I told there are many these medias also available, maybe social networking, social medias, all these platforms are available. Network concept has been developed in such a way so that the communication of your this research publication will be very easy. And another important thing what we can see is the information explosion. So that is also the cause. Okay, information explosion. Already you know that one, literature explosion, knowledge explosion, information explosion, all this. Okay, there are a lot of these huge resources are coming in that how we can select the right one or the best one. Okay, how we can evaluate these are the problems many of them are facing. Then open this for these there are these are the many consequences what we can see, and for that the open access publishing concept also developed. Open access publishing. So this is, you can see this picture here, scholarly innovations and research outcomes in commercial platform. Okay, here what will upon this research output only this much, and are they this truly accessible for all? Because no, because a lot of this the publications are coming, and out of that only this commercial platforms will publish only the few, because only this small portion only. So this is what happening today, and because you can see it here. And academic publishing since 1665, I told you this philosophical term, this is actually the first journal, this journal, philosophical transaction, February 1965. Okay, this is a I'll do and timeline of the key developments in scholarly publishing. Okay, so I explained, I told about the scholarly communication, why it is actually required, etc. Post Second War, research funding dramatically increased, and the confirmed the role of commercial publisher as powerful actor in the scientific publishing. That is in the that is I can say 1945 to 70. This is a rapid growth. Many even India also, you know that UGC has established and in the plan period they have given this more this funds to the various universities. That time only the universities number also very less. You know that up to 1994 only this I can you know that one the university number was around this 180 something. Okay, because very few universities. Now it is not like that. It's across 1,000. Okay, so 1964 journal ranking and this impact factor metrics introduced by this science citation index. Science citation index where we can get this is amalgamated in this web of science. You know that one web of science. Okay, it is a citation database. In that social science index, citation index, all these are merged. Okay, so the cost of this, that one mainly this is published now by earlier this ISI, Institute of Scientific Information, Philadelphia, and then Thomson Reuters, then now this Claravita Analytics. So this is one we can see rapid growth, and after that we can see print publishing is started in 1971 to 95. The cost of the printing journal subscription continued to rise year over year, resulting in the serial pricing crisis. Okay, and academic publishers started exploring pricing models for the digital publishing because what happened on this during that particular period, many of them started this many publications has come the budget because journals this prices increased, but acquiring this getting this one subscription of this or the procurement or the subscription of these journals as the price, okay, this allotted by the university or the institutions by the same. Okay, so that's the one major problem or what faced during this particular period. Academic publishers started explore pricing models for the digital publishing because because publication it is a Hercules task. I told why because the publication cost has increased. The printing, okay, printing means the paper and many things we can see. Okay, these are the many problems what faced. Okay, that's why many they have started. Okay, publishers they have started on digital publishing. Okay, digital because internet at that time this evolved. Okay, so 1995 the university licensing project is established elsewhere, and also this 9 university libraries explore the digital publishing. This is one development I can say. Okay, Biomed Central this explore a new pricing model, article processing charges because they are taking this charges. You know now also they are doing this APC. Okay, article processing charges with the charging authors to enable free access to the individual articles. Okay, because they are freely given to this to all provided they are charging some amount. Okay, because the publication cost they are telling that article this processing charge. Okay, so libraries are because they are very smart. Okay, libraries are so no longer this purchasing tangible objects, books, or journals issues. They negotiate digital license to access this online content. This is the start in 1960 or 1996 to 2004. This called digital age. Many this in that one of the important development that I'll tell you later also, 2002, the Budapest Open Access Initiative releasing a public statement of open access principles. Okay, because this is the open access initiative first started in this by this Budapest. Okay, this is one of the important development in that meeting. So after that, we can see 2005 onwards, open access has developed like anything. Open access movement continues to move this forward. Publisher business models evolve the response to demand for freely accessible research without barrier or restriction, hybrid, layover, new content license, etc. The research ecosystem moves beyond this open access to open science because this now You know that the concept earlier this open access was there. Now this open science, whatever is this the publication, whatever you publish or whatever you are doing the results of the your research should be this available to the public. Why it is so? That is, you are this, taking the money because universities are spending or the government is spending the money to the universities or the educational institutions. Then, or some are this getting this projects. Out of that project, they are doing the research, and then what is ultimately what they are this government is stressing, or this all this the people are stressing that whatever they are doing this the results of their research should be kept open to the public. This is what okay. Four functions of this publishing: reorganizing, registration, certification, dissemination, preservation. 2002. This is all this started. Okay. So launch open access. So coming to this further, this primary channels of this all this scholarly communication are these are. This is UNESCO. Okay. Yeah. What are the academic journals? Okay. What are these primary the channels? Because you can publish your articles in academic journals or conference proceedings or research monographs or research reports, working papers, thesis and dissertations, and patents and standards. For getting this patent, whatever you are doing on this one, for if this you protect your rights, okay, protect the right of the inventor, and then this you will get this patent certification from this government, okay, government. So this is all this the standards. Okay, these are the in these all these are the channels, I can say channels in that we can publish our this papers or articles, I can say, or it may become in the form of the report. So type to these articles. Coming to this one, this I can say this academic journals. Here this type of this articles in academic journals are research papers. That research papers. Because why I'm just stressing all this because and many of them you are very experienced, and maybe many of them are you are the this assistant professors maybe, okay, or some are this newly this entered the teachers for the maybe, okay, these are some are this doing the research under some project, because that is more important. Some are doing this research under the GRF, this is scholars or Arjunate or any other this government, okay, scholarship they are doing, because they are the beginners, because elders, because those who are this working from many years, they are doing, they are the participants, they know all these things. Their article academic journals maybe they published also. So research papers, types of the articles in the academic journals are the research papers, review papers, feature display articles, and short research communication. Then what we can opinions, commentary papers also, perspective or the insights, news or the views we can say, okay, and letters to the editor sometimes, because at the end it may come book reviews. In many journals you can see the book reviews also, okay, and the editorial. So editorial, the first that they are giving the editorial in any journal, you can see that one. And the book reviews also, that one. Many times, many journals they are giving this book reviews at the end, okay, end of this in their issue, okay, journal issue. Okay, these are the ways the publications, academic journal publications are coming. So what constitute academic journal means it should have an ISSN number, should consist of peer-reviewed content. Peer-reviewed. This why I stress this one. According to UNESCO Open Access for Research Scholarly Communication course model, they stress that these should be there. One is ISSN should be there, journal article means. And peer-reviewed content should be there, because peer-reviewed means the experts, they should have reviewed this one, should be published on a regular basis, the journal. The content should be relevant and readable for an international audience, not only for you. Because that's why whatever you write, they are telling that one, you write in simple sentences. Whenever this you need, use the scientific jargons. Otherwise, don't use scientific jargons, okay, because symbols, everything. So should have publication ethics and the publication malpractice statement. Okay, should have publication ethics. Okay, these are very much required. And another important, the peer reviewed in the sense you already know that one, whatever you publish, it should be this indexed in either Web of Science or the Scopus or UGC this care listed journals. What they have listed now, in that you have to publish your articles. In that journal, you have to publish your articles. That's more important. Then only this they will consider your journal article for your promotion and other aspects, because okay, they are getting this appointment. Journal peer, because just this on journal peer review system, it may be single blind, because review aware who the authors are, but authors do not know this who is the reviewer, because single blind. Double blind, both the reviewers and the authors do not know who each other are, because this one. And post publication, reviewers and the authors know who each other are, and reviewers evaluate after this paper is published in an open platform, because first they will publish and after that they will give to read. So open means both the reviewers and authors know who each other are, because this because easy, because okay, open. So this single blind, double blind, and the post publication and the open publication, these are the things. How does this, how does or did academic publication works? You know that one society or the publication company, journal, article, research authors, university. Okay, this is you can easily see. Then maybe this journal belongs to this publishing company. Okay, then given to this, we are giving the article researcher, so the author, they are giving to this, to the editor, okay, produce this, or they are reading this an article, all these are going on, you know that one. Sometimes society may fund or the university may fund, okay, give the funds, or otherwise a researcher may pay. Universities pay to the publishing company, society may pay the publishing company, or this the research authors, okay, researcher or the author may give the, okay, pay for the publication. Pay in the sense I told, no, sometimes why this APC, okay, article processing charges they are collecting many times nowadays. That is why who will give this one? That's more important. Main factors affecting the author's choice of the target journals. Okay, this is more important, I can say. What are factors to be considered? Author's choice of the target journals is one. Journal impact factor. First and foremost, you see this one, journal impact factor, because how much it is. Sometimes because of some predatory journals, they are giving this if they say low than this one, and they are giving this 5, 6 like that. Okay, that's okay. And indexation is more important. It should be indexed in either Web of Science or the Scopus citation. International journal prestige, that's more important. Okay, how this that you can came to know whether it is a good journal or not. Okay, then if a journal, you know that one, Elsevier Science Direct, very popular, Elsevier Science Direct, in that, or JEEE this e database, in that they are publishing very good journals. Okay, very good journal articles only they are considering IEEE. Okay, there are many are available, you know that one. So I'll tell you if you want. Relevance of the research topic, that's more important. Okay, and acceptance and rejection rates. Okay, that also you have to see that one. How this one, okay, in that journal, this how they are considering that one. Relevance of the topic, which area they are, because their area, some journals are telling because our area is this, we are publishing only on this biomedical, we are publishing only on this biotechnology or the biochemistry or this or in the life sciences. Okay, that way they are target is there on some topic. Okay, so the area, okay, there. Size of the print circulation, that's also sometimes they are bringing both manuscript turn around this time, because how much time they are taking for the publication, that also author has to see. Editors' characteristics, what they are asking, what are their criteria, are the general criteria, are the general guidelines, etc. Quality of the review, this reviewer comments, okay, how they are, okay, whether they are giving high quality, okay, they are, whether they are reviewing very systematically, that's also we have to see. Previous experience with publishing in that particular journal. If you already published in that particular journal, one reputed journal, then you know that one how it is. Okay, how the journal is. Okay, so you can easily, for example, the Sage or the Taylor and Francis, or you can see this I told Science Direct, all that, LCS Science Direct. Okay, so if you publish that one, you know that one, how they are considered. Once you publish, then you can easily this next article you do that one because you know that what their expectation level, okay, how they are considering. And the colleagues' recommendation is also this important. If you are this budding researchers, then you will have to ask with this your this fellow colleagues because or fellow this staff or with the teachers I can say. Sometimes you can discuss with your this guide also or this other teachers I can say that is also more important because at the beginning no one will be this I can say this grammar because it is not easy to write this article writing is not an easy job because it is an art I can say it is a high level of this thinking because that how we are developing that we have to develop this art. Okay. So at the beginning, if you are writing one or two articles, then it is difficult. That's why I told because most of the researchers are better writing these articles for the conferences. But by writing these articles to the conferences, papers to the conference, they can feel to know how this can write for this journal articles. Okay, these are the things. Okay, international status of that particular this journals that also one has to see whether it is open access or this proprietary based. For open access, that's also one has to. And publication charge, how much they are charging, these are the this another factor. And the promotion into the social platform, whether they are giving this putting in this Facebook or Twitter and other this platforms, okay, promotion they are giving, plus attention to the journals. Okay, so attention to the journal. These are the any this author because I can say main factors affect author choice of the target journal. While this this if you want to go to this going for this publication in a reported journal, then you ought to see all this the criteria. Okay, criteria. So this is given by JKMS. Okay, this reference also given. So, coming this further, I told this my topic is open access publishing, and that way only I am this talking. Open access movement. This is it has started bridging the gap between scholarly communication as well as the publishing. Okay. Here, I told in the beginning itself, open access movement is started. It is boon to the the authors or the researchers. Open access movement in its diverse forms constitute the most interesting and promising model for the research output of an academic library or the university. This one. And open access literature, it is digital, online, free of charge, and free of most copyright and the license restrictions. Licensing restriction. This is what we call. Okay. It is literature. Open access means it is any form of the literature. It is a digital form, online, free of charge, and free of most of the copyright and the license restriction because they are getting this free license. Okay. This is what we call this DLE license, or we can say this open access licenses. Okay, so Creative Commons that I'll tell you later. PLOs defines open access as a free availability and unrestricted use. Free availability is free, and anyone can use unrestricted anytime how many times they want they can access. Open access removes. What are the benefits of that? The open access is removes the price barriers. Price barriers it means subscription, license fees, pay per view because this earlier it was there Medlas now accessing this Medlas database. Okay, we have to this we would have paid this pay to that one. Okay, each one this each page accessing by accessing this many of the researchers were paying that. Okay, for viewing that one, viewing as well as the viewing one and downloading and the taking print of all that. So here it is not there. And fees and the permission barriers also most copyright licensing restrictions are okay they are giving. Open access to scholarly communication connected to new technology-based digital form of the scholarly publishing. Also, comply with the well-established peer review process and maintain high publishing standards in open access journal. If it is a standard one, okay, open access also very good journal, and they are following all this, okay, peer review process, etc. Openness, I told this many times, open, because it is a free flow of sharing information and idea for teaching, learning, research, etc. Facilitated by internet as communication channel, because many of them today techno savvy, because younger generation they are, I think after this post COVID, okay, many of them are, we can call them techno savvy only, because they are now this digital literate, I can say. Okay, okay, so there are two types of the people: digital natives are born digital, or the digital natives, okay, digitally migrated. Okay, so now this many people, you know that, but many they know this, how to access, how to get this one, how to publish on this internet, okay, all this technology, okay, what are the tools are available, etc. Conducive to knowledge acquisition and generation, open knowledge. This is a, I already told, literature, information explosion, open things, because due to that, this open access movement, there are many things that we can see, open all this. What it means: open access, open content, open courseware, open source software, open educational e-learning, open education resources. Then finally, recently this one concept has been developed, this what called open science, and many this more things, because open repository is also there. Then the concept of open means anyone can freely access. Access means they get, retrieve, use, modify, and share for any purpose, subject at most to the requirements that reserve provenance and openness. This is what we call the slide. You can see this open science, because all this they brought under this nowadays open science, open education, open access, open peer review methodology, source data, etc. So open society, because that I don't want to concentrate much on. Okay, society now, this is the present society, is open society, the unrestricted access to the knowledge, the unplanned and uninhibited association of manpower. Is this what more these are, okay, we can see technological work. So coming to this one, open society, I told you, technologies they're more using. You can see this overview of the global internet use, how much percentage they are using this one. Okay, how, see this is a how much the total number of global internet users, 4.66 billion today. So users, internet users as a percentage, total global population is 59.5%. So this is this way it has developed like anything. So social media also we can see that. Traditional journals, coming to this traditional journals as well as the hybrid journals, some of the differences, you know that one. Traditional journal, I told, make money through subscription and advertising. Subscription usually driven by quality and impact factor. Then create an incentive for high quality peer review and the overall quality. So this is, but publisher criticize for high this sizes for high fees, because we are normally telling people that they are taking high price, expected peer review to be free, and for requiring authors to sign overall price, because they are taking the rights from us. Hybrid journals, because this is not like that. Publishers have moved to start offer open access for individual articles on payment of a fee. Okay, this is started. Payment of a fee. Offering this enables them to meet funder OEM mandates, which requires authors to make publications available in an open access manner. So anticipate that fees should be met by funder or research grant funds, because this is what called APC. Some accusation of double charging, publishers are getting both the subscription and the OA payments. So open access, now you got a somewhat clear picture about that, what do you mean by this open access. It is set of principles and range of practices to which research output are distributed online free of cost or other access barriers. So this is one, and this is and I already told, you can say anyone can read, download, copy, distribute, print, search, and for and search within the information or use it in education or in any other way within the legal agreements. Within the legal agreements means fair use of information. Fair use of the information. So this is also the same, because that you can use it for your purpose, because this is what. And then open access uses digital technology to make research findings widely available. So this major available to So because here this picture says everything. Okay, open access literature is digital, online, free of charge. Okay, keep it in mind. It is accessibility is free, copyright, and is access free as in a free view. Copyright free is as in free speech. Okay, that way. Okay, so this is what we can speak. Open access is that way only. So there are two definitions, important definitions you can see. One is Peter this work because his material is also available on open access that I can give you. When you Peter this work, he told this one, only one definition. You can see open access literature, digital, online, free of charge, and free of most copyright and the licensing restrictions. Okay, and then you are getting one. Okay, because and then this is a Budapest. This open access initiative is also very good definition. These are the two definitions giving this clear picture about this open access to you. Okay. So, in the nutshell of the definition of open access, it is unrestricted online access to scholarly articles, journals, e-books, e-thesis, PPT presentations, and video films. Okay. This is what open access. Because open access is not only this journal publication, but beyond that, okay, books, thesis, and the PPT present, the video films, everything. Okay. Because in many times you have seen now this is a CC. Okay, in PPTs you can see CC or the materials some are publishing in CC, Creative Commons licensing there. Basic definition relate terms open access journals because open access repository is also available today. Journal that does not charge readers for access. Okay, journals that does not charge readers for access. This is open. Open repository is also there. Repositories means online database providing free access to full text of the research papers and other types of data. Because they are collecting from this various sources and making this one database by using either DSpace or the ePrint. Okay, software. Okay. This digital library software. So this way they are developing or any other this developing this one repository. You know that one institutional repository developing that way this open access repositories they are developing. Okay, then what happened? This cost explosion, internet funding sources, boycott. Okay, so these are the problems. That's why we have moved toward that. And price in scholarly communication publishing. Okay, this is one major this origin why it is started open access. That to decline the collections budgets, more demand for the newer expensive resources, and greatly increase pricing for the serials and electronic resources. Okay, this one rise of internet. I already told worldwide that okay, these are the main this boon to the society that this will be helpful for the rapid dissemination of the new research, better connectivity between the scholars. Because nowadays you know that when if you are staying in Mangalore University, you can connect with the entire world. Okay, if you are not getting this the idea on this one particular this area, okay, organic chemistry or anything, this you can okay. So then what you can do now, you can this contact with the Oxford University professor or this Cambridge University professor or the Stanford University professor or anyone, because that will be possible today. You can send a mail to them, you can discuss with them, you can this, share with them. So all this will be this nowadays possible because I know this one because Mangalore State chemistry department particularly you belongs to mainly this many subjects maybe because chemistry is doing the wonderful work. I know this one because I used to be there because you know Professor Timeters are up to this 12 o'clock. He was working in the lab. Okay, this is all these things days I know very well, and many the well-known teachers are there. And this OA, this history, early days we can see the late 1960s and the early 90s. Eric Education Researcher one. Database, Medline database, Agricola created. Okay, these are some of the developments we can see. This one, Agricola agriculture related database. ARPANET launched in the year this 1969. I think internet is the main for that. The base is the ARPANET. And 1971, the Project Gutenberg is formed. This is one for this Project Gutenberg for creating the database. Everything. 1991 to 94, this Air XIV, this MR and mathematical physics reprint archive and the project this Berkeley and this Perseus project at all. These are launched A 1994 Digital Library Initiative launched by this National Science Foundation, Social Science Research Network, this also launched. In 1996, network to the digital library of theses and dissertations and internet archiving, web archiving, internet archiving, all these are maybe this created. This is a one network NDLTD. This is a very popular one. You can go through this one. Okay, network digital library of theses and dissertations. Okay, this one. And after that, 2000, 2003, this some of the tools have been developed. One this PubMed Central, this is launched. Now it's free. And first Creative Commons license also released. Creative Commons means there is no need of this getting this the license because you are using that one to create. There are some attributes of that I will tell you later in next class. Directive of Open Access journals also launched. Now, why I'm telling this all these things, because all these things are available today in almost all these open access journals highlighted or this indexed in DOAJ, Directory of Open Access Journals. Let's say DOAB, also DOAR, all these are available. Okay. 2003 declarations, 10 principles for emerging scholarly publishing, UN Economic and Social Council calls universal access to knowledge and the information in access, Budapest Open Access Initiative and Bethesda Statement of Open Access Publishing, and Berlin Declaration on Open Access to Knowledge in the Science and Humanities. Okay, these are the concepts I developed. So this is Budapest, I already told, 2002. And then 2005, this is another landmark you can see in the open access. Wellcome Trust implemented open access mandate for Wellcome funded research, and the Columbia University, University of Kansas, Cass University reserves adopt statement of support to the OAS because many of these organizations are supported for this for the development of open access. 2008 federal mandate takes effect. This requires OA. This is one. Government Central also through. Harvard this mandate OA deposit of this faculty scholars works. This is also. The MIT also, they have all the times forefront. 2009 mandate OA deposit of faculty scholars works. Okay, this is one. OA today we can see over more than I think over 150 universities around the world mandate open access repositories of the faculty work. Whatever this faculty work doing, it should be this published in open access. Okay, and they have to deposit also. Directory of Open Access is one very good source, and later also it will come in 80 languages. You can go through this one, DOAJ, very good site. 80 languages, 130 countries represented, 12,283 journals without this APC. Okay, 17,448 journals and articles. You can see that 71,52,155 articles records. Okay. So this is a very good source. Then another one, Open Door, open a directory of open access repositories. List two. Okay, time is out. Okay, okay. 2001, 16 open archives in 98 countries. Okay, this you can get through this Open Door org. Okay, that's one. And history. Okay, okay. History. Coming to this history of this history indicates the open access lights because this I'll give it to you because don't worry because what are this this is very good one source here artsy.org, PubMed Central, ePrints, PLS Public Library of Science. Okay, this biomedical central this open journal systems released Spark this one and the DSpace software release for this digital creating digital repository, Creative Commons license because you can give this your license really. Budapest Open Access so Oyster, Berlin this Bethesda Declaration, why this WSIS Action Alliance launch, DOAJ, Director of Open Access Journals, Open Door, okay, open this open repositories, open access repositories. Then celebration of Open Access Week started 2007 onwards, and Open Access Scholarly Publishing Associations. Okay, this also launched. Okay, so this is these are the things we can see. Ma'am, what time I have to stop?
Sir, you can take 5 more minutes and we'll allow a few questions.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, there are three B's of this open access initiatives. I told this Bethesda Open Access Initiative, one, Bethesda Statement of Open Access Publishing, one, Berlin Declaration of the Open Access to Knowledge in the Science and Humanities. Okay, these are the three B's of open access initiatives. I already told many times open access publishing, it will be uh, helpful for bridging the digital divide because haves and have-nots, okay, for that. Because otherwise what will happen now is those who are having the money, then they only get the publications for their research or any other purpose. Others, what they can do. Okay, they are not getting this information, isn't it? This is one major this problem. Some of the it's applicable to the developed countries as well as developing countries also. Developed countries they're having this huge money or they're spending more money for this educational research or education institution for research and development, but whereas in the developing countries it's not like that. Okay. So the advancement technology has proliferated the heavy and incredible growth of scholarly research conducted at universities and institutions around the globe is the all technological changes what we can see. The finding recommendation the research are generally published in the scholarly journals, but access to academic publishing is restricted to subscriptions of the article. Those who are subscribed this one, then they only get because it will be applicable to the libraries also. Okay, if they are not having the fund, they cannot possibly subscribe the journals because the cost of the journal is as well as the journal databases are high. Research product is generally government funded and the fruits are enjoyed by the private. Open access publishing, why? Because research product that I told no open science concept has developed. So this is what they are telling. Okay, research product is the generally government funded and the fruits are enjoyed by the private players. As a researcher publish and hand over their research outcomes to private publishers without any expectations. Okay. To access the published work, the researcher again has to pay to the aggregators to retrieve the academic content on purchase mode. Okay, these are the things. So these are the problems. One slide I have. The problem took the shape of international academic movement and the proposed new model. This is open access publishing. Got? Okay. New model of academic publishing is called as open access publishing. So the principles of open access are set out in Berlin Declaration 2003. Okay. When anyone can read, download, copy, distribute, print, and use it in education or other way with the legal agreements, and the publication is called open access. As there are no financial, legal, or this technical barriers. Anyone can download, anyone can use, anyone can redistribute. Okay, these are the things provided they have to acknowledge. They have to acknowledge the author. That's all. Okay. So the recommendations of this Budapest Open Access Declares include the use of liberal license such as CC BY, okay, Creative Commons BY, is widely recognized in the community as means to make a work truly open access. This I'll tell you because later CC what BY means what. Okay. So there are many slides. Okay. Benefits I'll stop because I am already told. Okay. Benefits of this open access. These are many benefits. Okay. Readers, teachers and students, libraries, universities, journals and publishers, funding agencies, government, citizens, and authors. Okay. All these people will get benefit out of this open access. Okay, this author, reader, students, libraries, all this. Every citizens even. Okay, see, and the publishers also. Okay, this is a slide I will complete. Open access provides authors with a worldwide audience. You know that one benefits to the authors because you are published in your open access journal. All people will see this entire world. Okay, open access increase the visibility and the impact of their work, so that what will happen? Your this H index will increase. Okay, I10 index will increase. Okay, these are the benefits for this for us. Open access widen opportunity for funding and the international collaboration. While finding this, giving the funding, they will see this one, and while making this international collaboration, also they will see, and benefits to the authors, or readers. Open access gives researchers barriers-free access to the literature they need, regardless of the budget, for general subscription available to the library. This one. And second, open access also makes text mining and other forms of the text processing and analysis a possibility, because it will be also coming in the web, text mining, data mining, all these things. Okay, so lectures, okay, we can use okay, open access gives students access to the research literature regardless of which institution they are based at, because we are using many times. Lectures can more easily make available their own work for students to use. This is not for, normally we are doing whatever this we have collected for our this class, and we are giving to this to the students. This is what, okay. So benefits to the library is also, this is can skip. Open access make available problems, increase general subscription cost is one. Open helps libraries to provide what their readers need. Okay, that also we can give. And through that we can budget also. There is no need of this much budget also. Okay. Universities or the institutions also getting this more this benefits that I told already. This more visibility, increase the visibility and the impact. Okay, then one this Adam already this published one this there are many publications are there, because so the what will happen now this in that this is putting this affiliation, because not only this her author as her name, because affiliation, Mangalore University. So then Mangalore's name will be this going through this the world, because this is what. So increase the visibility and impact of the research being carried out at an institution. Institutional repositories provide a showcase for the university, because institutional repository means creating this repository, building the repository by using some of the databases, software like this DSpace or ePrint or all these. So open access is a major tool in attracting new students and the staff to the university. This you know that it helps universities share their knowledge and expertise. But this is an opportunity. Otherwise, it is very difficult, because if you are publishing this paid journals, it takes more time, and it they will publication for that they will take more time also. But after this is coming now, that's very easy. So many these journals are available. Okay, this is a lot. Benefits of funding agencies also. Access increased return on their investment in research by making the results of that research more widely available, reduce public access to the results of the publicly funded research, and also encourage faster developments in and innovations in research. This is one. Government also get more benefits. Experience funding agency while giving this funding, they will see this credentials. Okay, so author this or the teachers or the credentials also. Open access promotes open democratic government by making information as freely available as possible. Freely available, because information is one of the important ingredient like this. This is a food, the clothing, shelter, because nowadays, because that's why it should be this freely available in that direction, because government is also supporting. Okay, so I will pause here. There are many slides. Okay, so can I stop here, ma'am?
Yeah, yes, sir. You can continue in the next classes. You have so much information to share.
I
Yeah,
okay, ma'am. Yes,
thank you. If
so
anybody wants to interact, maybe we can give 1 or 2 minutes.
I'll continue this. I have this more slides. I think more than
Yes, sir.
120 slides.
Yeah.
Next class, I'll continue that one, because
Yes.
I concentrate on this further also. I have now touched only the benefits, and next this I
Yes.
have to concentrate on some of open access resources, particularly. Then open access predatory journals, and how to identify this one. Okay, that also. These are the few concepts I will concentrate on my next presentation.
Yes, sir. You'll have 2 more hours to speak
Yes.
on
Okay.
these aspects. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. You have given us a lot of information about the open access publication. You have emphasized more on the benefits rather on the limitations. I am sure the benefits outweigh the limitations, but we need to cautiously decide which journals to go for when we publish our results. And awareness is really a must when you select the journals in which you would like to publish.
Yes, exactly.
If anybody wants to comment on the topic of today's lecture, you're free to speak. Maybe we'll have 2-3 minutes. Somebody wants to know the names of some open access journals. Maybe Professor will address these questions in the next class. You need
Yes,
to mention what is your topic of research, what is the field in which you have pursued the research. To name the journals.
okay. So kindly share your PPT. Okay, I'll give the next class because I will
Yes.
give that one. Okay, that is
Yes, sir.
Abhishek
Okay, sir.
Shruti. Thank you. Okay, sir. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of Mangalore University, I extend heartfelt thanks to Professor Chandrasekhar for a lot of information on open access publishing, and we look forward to his future talks on this
Thank you.
topic.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll move on to the last and the third lecture for the day. It will be delivered by Professor Arun Islor. This is his second lecture on publication misconduct. Professor Arun has joined in. Arun?
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Good evening to you. So I'm online.
Yeah. So I will extend a warm and cordial welcome to Professor Arun M. Islor. I have already introduced him, but still, for the sake of those who were not there during his previous talk, Professor Arun M. Islor is the noted alumnus of Mangalore University. He was a student during 96 to 98. He has been teaching in NIT K. Surathkal for the last 17 years. His interests are in membrane research. He also has a lot of collaborations with Malaysia, Canada, to name a few countries. Uh, he has he has been the Sir C.V. Raman Young Scientist State Awardee from Government of Karnataka, and he has been ranked among the top 2% scientists at the world level, as surveyed by Stanford University, October 2021. I think these recognitions speak a lot about him. He is a highly accomplished scientist, and he is here with us to speak on scientific misconduct, publication misconduct. So, on behalf of all of you, I extend a warm welcome to Professor Arun M. Islor, and I invite him to give this talk. Over to Professor Islor.
Thank you, madam, for once again introducing and once again this wonderful opportunity. Let me share the slide. I will take a few seconds to share this. Madam, is this visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So today's is the second my talk, continuation of the previous one. It's about the research publication misconduct. It's the part 2. In the previous session, I mainly highlighted about the how to structure a well-structured research manuscript and the error-free research manuscript. And after that, what are the misconducts because of the publications, what are the reasons, what are the punishments, and how we can avoid. So those aspects. And in the continuation part of that, today I'll be mainly highlighting about the research matrix and also how this research matrix, the scientists or the researchers across the globe, so how they try to manipulate the research matrix, or what are the possible misconducts they are trying to do. So about that, mainly I'll be highlighting. So the today's so this is the topic.
Professor Arun, it is not in the slideshow mode. It's not seen as full screen.
It's not visible, madam.
It is not visible as okay. Now it's fine. Now it's fine.
No, okay, na?
Yeah. Sorry, I think.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
So the research matrix, as you know, research matrix, it is actually the quantitative analysis of the scientific and scholarly research outputs and their impacts. So it's not only just for a science field or a chemistry, but any of the overall researchers, either in the field of science or in the humanities or in the field of management, engineering, or the medical. So in all this field, the terminology, this is the common, the research matrix. And this research matrix, it mainly includes varieties of measures and different type of statistical methods. Of course, I'm not going deeper into how these different type of the metrics and what type of the statistical analysis or the statistical methods are being used. So I'm not going into the depth of that, but only what is the meaning of these different type of the research matrix and what are the most common metrics which are used across the globe. So these are the statistical methods for assessing the quality and broader impact of the scientific and scholarly research, as well as to track the researchers' impact. That means at the global level, where the researcher is standing. So that actually can be measured by with the help of the research matrix. Even while choosing the Nobel laureates or while giving the different fellowships in the at the universities, maybe for the faculties or even for the students, or maybe for the promotions. Of course, in India, it is not fully yet implemented, including even in the IITs or in many of the universities. But slowly, part by part, these things are being slowly being implemented. But in US and US, Canada, China, and many other countries where the promotions or whatever the fellowships or even the funding opportunities to the faculties or to the students, it is purely based on the research matrix. And this research matrix, it measures the impact and it provides an insight into the influence of the specific journal publications or the individual articles as well as the authors. So it is not only just for an individual researcher. What I mean to say is it's not only just for an individual researcher, but the research matrix we can also judge whether the journal is a reputed one or highly reputed or an average or a below average. So a researcher can get those informations also. So it is overall not only to the individual but even to the journals and also to the individual articles also, research articles. So here under this research matrix measures, one is about journal matrix. So this specifically highlights about how to judge a quality type of a quality oriented research journal, such as based on the impact factor. And this impact factor, it helps to track the citation patterns within that given journal, and also it can determine which journals are highly cited. So it's a journal oriented, the impact factor, mainly the impact factor. Of course, there are other misleading terminologies also you might have seen. I'll come to that later. It's like just to fool the researchers. These are made by the journals only. So instead of they'll mention journal impact factor or any other wordings with the impact factor, with the ending with the impact factor. But strictly, you need to focus only on the impact factor. I will go to that later at the later stage. I'm just giving the classification and the overall information related to these in the current in this particular slide. And the second one is, as just I mentioned earlier, for the authors, that is author matrix. So this author matrix, this measures the impact as well as productivity of a researcher. So madam has just mentioned while giving my introduction, so in the top 2% of myself as well as a few from the Mangalore University and other this region also, and they have also have been recognized with the top 2%. So those things mainly with the author matrix. It's not only, of course, the whatever the Stanford research, Stanford University who have conducted that particular survey. It is not only just based on the H index or the author matrix, but also considering the research area as well as many other different points. You can refer to the Google for that particular that 2% highly cited researcher. It is not only just with the only with respect to the H index of that particular author, but other many other factors are also there. And then another one is article metrics. So this is specifically to a specific type, a specific given research article. Or the citation tracking is also nothing but the citation, how many times that particular research paper has been cited by other researchers. So that is also very important. So more and more researcher across the globe, if they are citing your publication, that particular publication, so that directly affects that directly influences your H index. Not only that, the article index or the article matrix, as well as the journal matrix also can go up. I'll also give at the later stage, I'll also be giving certain hints while sending your publication to a particular journal based on the this research matrix. In what way you can make your article more attractive at the end, at the later stage. I'll be presenting that. Then another one is that is the alt matrix that actually help the researchers to measure their impact from the papers, that is the research papers, and then a different type of the data sets, and then through the different websites, and then blog posts, as well as many other social media also. So that is the latest one, that is the alt matrix, which is included, that is the recently which has been introduced. So here it includes even the different type of the blogs where it's not only related to the your particular research publication or in the journal, but also the whether it has been cited by any of the website, or whether it is in the any of the different type, any of the blog, or in any of the social media, whether it has been cited by anybody. So that also including, that is the nothing but the alt matrix. So this is with the recently this part was introduced with, because with the as there is increase in last few years, there is the blogs or the website or the awareness of the social media. So these are being increased in numbers in the last few years. So after that, this alt matrix also, this also included. So this also considered as one of the research matrix measures. First, here in the research matrix, so these research matrix can be used, that is to support the. So why, if I ask a question to the all the audience who are present here, why the research matrix are important? So already I have given some of the few of the points already I have given, whether for giving some fellowship, or maybe for the promotion, or even at the level of the while selecting the Nobel laureates, or I mean for selecting the Nobel Prize winners, even up to that extent also nowadays this research matrix is being followed. So I have pointed out a few of the things here. So one is to support the applications for the grant funding. So earlier means about 8 or 10 years back, when you are submitting a grant to the any of the funding agency, like it may be the DST or UGC or any other SCRB or Department of Biotechnology, any such funding agencies. So they were not giving any much importance on the research metrics earlier days or earlier years. But in last 6-8 years, they are considering the research metrics also one of the important tool. So they'll measure when they receive the application of the researcher or a scientist. So they will go through the what is the research metric of that particular applicant, and then the committee can take certain decision. Then to support the application for the promotion. Of course, in India, as I mentioned already, it is till now this is not yet being implemented in a full scale. But in IITs, to some extent, this has been included. But in US as well as even in Malaysia, also have seen where it is completely depending on the candidate's research metrics. Based on the research metrics only, the promotion of the particular candidate will be, or the applicant will be done. And even in the countries like Malaysia or even in the Singapore or Indonesia, because I have personally visited so many times, and then I came to know what are the in what way they are promoting the faculty member. So they always maintain, they expect a KPI index. KPI is nothing but key performance index. Key performance index. So, for example, if a faculty member who is at the level of assistant professor or maybe associate professor or maybe at a level of professor, if he has applied for some higher position or maybe for the promotion, then they'll every year, not only that, it is not only for just for the promotion, but even to retain the same salary. Say, for example, one particular faculty was having say, let us say, some $3,000 per month as his remuneration, right? And in that particular previous year, the same researcher, he had published some 5 research publications with so much of impact factor. And then, for the next year, the same candidate or the same professor or the faculty or the researcher, so once again he has to submit his appraisal, right? So during that time they look for what are his contribution for the research through in terms of the publications as well as the how many patents or other or other aspects mainly related to the research. So previous year, if that candidate has published some 5 research papers with the average impact factor of, let us say, 3, okay? So for the current year also, they expect for the promotion of that faculty member or to retain the same salary or to give the additional increment, then they look for whether that minimum has been retained by the candidate or not. If by any chance, if the candidate is not in a position to publish 5 papers with the average impact factor of 3, then his salary earlier, which was about $3,000 per month, there will be deduction in the salary. Forget about giving any increment, but there will be deduction in the salary. So, of course, in India also, in future, in the coming years, these type of the things will be, I hope so. They may be the appropriate ministry. They're seriously looking about implementing these type of things even in India also. Of course, in some of the private universities, they have already implemented a very popular private university, which is more than 50-year-old, near to our neighboring district, that is in Udupi district. I don't want to mention here. So they have already implemented these type of for the increment or for the promotion of the faculty members. Then by researcher to maintain their own research profile, that is nothing but the KPI, key performance index. And then in the department or in the university and the faculty reviews and in the national assessment exercises, again, these research metrics are very important. However, there are certain issues to be considered while when we are fully depending on the research metrics for the promotion or increment or for giving any fellowship. So certain of the issues, because these are, we can say, it's like a drawbacks or for this research metrics. So one is the citation counts that can be affected in a number of other ways. That is, and also none of the single source that is not a comprehensive type. And sometimes what happens, the publication dates may get affected because some of the even the online many of the journals, it may be even in the case of the open access also it can happen many times. The editor will accept that particular article. However, the publication of that one, it may take after several months, or sometimes it has crossed even more than 2 years. So in such case, so that will affect the research metrics of that can affect the research metric of the that particular faculty or the researcher. Then of course, the frequency of a journal may also affect the results, because some of the journals, they are like a fortnightly or maybe monthly. But there are some journals, they get published only yearly twice or maybe in a year, only one issue in a year. So because of that also, even though your publication, your research article, even though it get accepted, but due to the delay in publication, it may affect the researcher's research matrix. And then always remember, the highly cited articles don't always mean excellent research. If a research paper is highly cited, that doesn't always, it is not mandatory or not necessary that it is to be an excellent research. Okay, but usually they are very good, because more and more number of citations are there, means definitely, but always it is not the only one factor which is responsible for the excellency of that particular research publication. And then esteem must always must also to be taken into the account. And then the research measures across the disciplines may also differ. Even in the science category itself, if you consider the chemistry, physics, and the mathematics, so these are the core basic science. So if you consider here, in case of the chemistry, it may be because more experimental part is, even with the biology also, as more experimental part is in the chemistry, so the research publication or the measures it may be, or in terms of the citation, it may be slightly more. But in terms of the mathematics, where the research matrix it may be slightly lesser. Okay, so, and similarly across the other disciplines also, like in the humanities or in the management. But overall, as of now, the research metrics are they are the only measuring measures for to find the excellency of any such researchers. So here in the journal impact factor, so one is the first one is the journal impact factor. I hope almost all of you are aware about the journal impact factor. That is the number of citation. How to find out this impact factor of a journal? So this is nothing but the number of the citations to a journal in a given year from the articles which are published by that journal in the past 2 years. That means from a particular journal, from a particular, say, let us say XYZ journal, from that in the past 2 years, how many times this journal has been cited? How many times the journal has been cited in the past 2 years, divided by how many research articles have been published by that journal in the past 2 years. So that actually gives that is nothing but the impact factor. You might have observed many of the Elsewhere or Springer or RSC, ACS journal. Every year there is an increase in the 1 or 2 or even a point of 3 also. Many times we have seen that the impact factor of the journal is increasing. But last year, a journal which was having an impact factor of 4, this year it may be 6.5 or 7 or 7.5. This is the general trend in the last 4 or 5 years, right? So the reason is number of researchers in that particular area probably increase, and then maybe the journal may be publishing a high quality research paper, so more researchers are following that particular journal, and then as the novelty of the research paper published by that particular journal may be very high, means highly novel type of the publications may be there. Because of that, more and more researchers have started following that one and they started citing. So because of that, the impact factor of that particular journal that can go up. Then another important that is particularly for the individual one or for the researcher, that is nothing but the H index. So this H index, this is actually nothing but the Hersh. He is actually a physicist. That is his physics. He's a physics researcher. So he actually, that is, his name is George Hirsch. George Hirsch. So he's a physics professor. And during 2005, so he suggested one of the matrix to measure the excellency of a research conducted by any researcher. So as an honor, the name of this particular matrix is nothing but the H index itself. That is the H index. So this is actually the H index. This is nothing but this is an author level metric that actually measures both the productivity as well as citation of the publication. So what is the productivity of that researcher, and also what is the citation? How many other researchers have cited the publication of that particular researcher or a faculty? So that actually indicated by the H index. And this H index, this actually correlates with obvious success indicators such as even for the Nobel Prize winners. So this is one of the very important criteria whenever the committee here, when they decide whom to be given the Nobel Prize. So this is also one of the important criteria, that is the H index. And this being accepted for research fellowships as well as holding varieties of top position at the universities. This particularly in the United States as well as in abroad. So they look for selecting a head of the organization or in the administration, head of the university. So these are the certain points which they are strictly following. And this index is based on the set of the scientists' most cited papers and the number of citations that they have received in the others' publication. Suppose, and this was actually proposed by Hirsch during the year 2005. Suppose a researcher is having an H index of 25. Let us see what is meant by that. So an H index of 25, it is nothing but, or it gives an information to that an author has written 25 papers and which have each of these research paper have been cited at least by 25 times. Of course, the researcher might have published 100 papers, Okay, 100 or 100 plus any number of papers, but at least 25 research papers of the among that 100 plus research papers published by that particular researcher, at least 25 of them have been cited 25 times. So that is the meaning of the H index of the any individual researcher. So any doubts here? Suppose if it is a 44, in my case, it is found to be about 44. That is nothing but, and of course, my total publications are about 268 or something like that. So out of this, the meaning of this one is, meaning of H index 44 is, so out of my total publications of 268, at least 44 have been cited 44 times. So that is the meaning of the H index. And of course, this was actually during the journal impact factor, and the H index was during the 2005, and the journal impact factor. So that was actually proposed by started by the Scoopus during the year 2004, and then in the recent years, we are also measuring the another matrix. We are following the another matrix that is nothing but the I-10 index. So this I-10 index, this was actually started by the Google Scholar or through the Google during the year when they have introduced the Google Scholar during the July 2011. So the meaning here is the I-10 index, it refers to the number of the papers with the 10 or more citations. Let me just show you the, I'll just exit timeline and I'll just choose this, I'll present this Google Scholar. Okay, so you can write the name of the any researcher. So I'm just writing currently my name only. Okay, and then Google Scholar. Okay, just then enter. So here you can find the Aruna Mislu with the Google Scholar, then you click it. On the right side, I hope this is visible.
It is visible.
Yes.
Okay, madam. Yeah. So here we can focus in this one. So this is first of all, it is showing the citations. The first one is the citation. The total citations are 6,391, and the H index, which is 44. That gives a meaning that out of my total published paper, at least 44 have been cited with the 44 times, and then I-10 index of 112. That means at least 112 publications which have got more than 10 times cited. So that is the meaning here. And also in this one you can you can also find yearly from the 2009 onwards. You can see here for the year 2022. For the year 2022, you can see in my case this is about already 165 research have been already cited, 165, and if you can see here, there is a progressive increase from 2009 onwards. 2009 it was 31. The total citations of my publication during the 2009 it was 31. Then there is a 76, so progressively increased. And then if you look at the 2020, it was 930, and then 21 it is not highly increased, but it has maintained almost the same value, that is with the 947. So I strongly feel it's because of the during this COVID timing, the research activities have been drastically, which has came down. So that has it's not only for me, but overall across the globe the same thing has happened. So there is no any much increase in that during the year 21. So here in the 22 already you can see 165 have been cited. I would have also presented through the Scoopus, but unfortunately I don't have the access of the Scoopus. Maybe during my next presentation, if I am in my institute, because where we can get the scoopers, but in the residence we don't have the access to the scoopers. Okay, so that's about the I-10 index. And now in case of whatever the values which I have presented here, this is being, again, I have taken the reference from which is common practice, which is followed in the United States. So the number of papers with the H citations. So the H index of about 10 to 12. H index of about 10 to 12. That means generally in United States, this is the standard actually. They expect at the associate professor level, when they are selecting any associate professor level, or maybe for a promoting an assistant professor to associate professor, at least of about 10 to 12 minimum that they are expecting. So below 10 H index of that author, then he or she is not promoted to the next level. Okay, so that is the 10 to 12 in the United States. And for a professor cadre, they generally expect at that time, if the candidate is with around 18, then the candidate is generally they'll give the promotion to the as a professor. Then H index of between 15 to 20 to become a fellow of the American Physical Society. So this is the minimum criteria, 15 to 20. And then H index of about 45, the member of United States National Academy of Science. It is very prestigious in the globe. So to become member of that 45 of H index, which is essential. And then the H index of 20 after about 20 years of activity, means the research activity, it is considered as a success. It is considered overall as a success. Then the H index of 40 after about 20 years of work or 20 years of service of the activity, it will be considered in the United States as a elite scientist. And H index of 60 after 20 years of service or the activity, which is considered as exception. Of course, this is in the H index in the United States. Then there are again some biased citations also here. That is, one is because fully we cannot trust on this matrix. The reason is self-citations. The reason is self-citation. So that is, to some extent, we can think that it's a biased one. See, in case of our publication, if I'm putting all our own research papers as a citation, then that is purely like of course, it is required whenever we give the, while giving introduction of our previously done research work, definitely it is required. Some 3, 4, 5 we can include. But out of 30 or 40 references, if more than 50-60% of our own citations, our own papers or published paper as a citation, then that is like a biased one. Then many times what happens is the citations of the friendly colleagues. What I mean to say is I have my other collaborators or maybe my other colleagues or other friends in other universities or other place in abroad. So when I'm writing a research paper, I'll put only their citations. 1 or 2 giving, there is no any, it is not considered as anything wrong or a biased one. But giving the only friendly and the colleagues with the more number of citations, so that is also considered as biased one. Or pressurizing our own friends to, whenever they are writing the research paper, pressurizing our own research paper, our own friends to pressurizing to include our citations in their publication. So pressurizing. So that is not that is also like a biased citations. And then citations of papers in the mother tongue. This is probably, it can come to the in the literature field, those who are doing the literature, the research in the field of the literature, where again with the respect to the mother tongue or a particular language or maybe the religion, okay, or maybe a particular country, okay, in that a country they are the our own religion people, or uh, our own mother tongue people. So in that way, that is also considered as a biased citation. So it is scientifically, I mean, it is not a ethics. It is not. It is the out of the research ethics. And then citations of easily accessible sources. So some of the journals which are easily available, only including them, even though they may be the very older one. So again, that is also not the correct one. And in the recent last 4 or 5 years, even at the international level, I have observed it is through the reviewers. That is nothing but when we communicate our research paper, we communicate our research paper to the, let us say, some journal of American Chemical Society, or maybe some elsewhere, or Springer, any such reputed journal. And usually the review, any such research paper, which will be reviewed by 3 to 4 expert who are considered as the reviewers. So 3 to 4 people are, or scientists, they are reviewing that, and they are sending the review report. And in last few years, last 4 or 5 years, I am observing some of those reviewers, of course, they are remaining anonymous. We don't know where our who has reviewed our paper. We don't know, because that will be completely kept. They will be anonymous. Only the editor can. Editor will be knowing who are the which scientist had reviewed which paper. But for the as an author, they won't give the name of the reviewers, but only they give the review comments. So in the review comment, what these reviewers are doing is, so they'll suggest you include the, they'll give some set of 4 or 5 or 6, 7 also many times, include these citations in your papers. So for us, no choice then, because if we not obey their suggestion, then they may reject our papers, right? So that is also not misconduct in the related to the research papers. So whenever I can't say no, but usually whenever such 6 or 7 when they give the suggestion, I'll put some 2 or 3 very much relevant, and then another 2, 3 I won't give. Giving the justification that already this is a kind of a repeating citation, so I don't want to mention. So thereby we can find out, we'll come to know who is the probable reviewer. So that is not the research ethics. Okay, because in future when you will also receive some not now, maybe after 8-10 years of your after starting your career as a faculty member or a scientist in future. So once you get papers from the editors for the reviewing, so don't give such a don't pressurize the authors to cite your own papers. Okay, so that is also that's a bias, as well as it is not a research ethics. And then only 20% of the, for your kind information, only 20% of the cited papers which are actually read by the citing authors. That means this is an overall survey. It is not only restricted to any one particular country, but overall across the globe. This report, it says that only about 20% of cited papers are which are thoroughly read by the citing authors. Suppose some 30 or let us say some 50 papers have been included as references. So that means only out of that 50 papers, cited papers, only about 20%. That means 10 research papers probably fully read by those authors. Remaining 40, just they see the title and they'll include. And then approximately 20% of all citations have again errors. Means in one or the other way, they may not be strictly related to that particular topic. So one or the other errors are there. The correct citations, so the research articles as well as the non-research articles, that is non-research article means the short review papers or the opinion or the letters to the editor or in maybe like a commentary articles, etc. So they must cite appropriate and relevant literature in support of the claims which have been made. And the excessive and inappropriate self-citation or coordinated efforts among the several authors to collectively self-cite is strongly discouraged. So group of people, so they just putting their own papers they are citing. So author should consider the following guidelines when preparing their manuscript. So whenever you are communicating your publications in the future, so please follow these points. So any statement in the manuscript that actually relies on external sources of the information, that is not the author's own new ideas or findings or general knowledge, should use a citation. This I have already mentioned in my previous lecture, this particular point. And then author should avoid citing the derivations of the original work. For example, they should cite the original work rather than a review article that cites on the original work. And then the author should ensure that their citations are accurate. That is, they should ensure the citation support and statement made in their manuscript and should not misrepresent another work by citing it off, or it does not support the point the authors wish to make. That means it should be error free. If you are explaining about one particular methodology or characterization part or anything, the citation should be fully related to that. It should not deviate. That's what the meaning here. Then author should not cite sources that they have not read. So without reading the manuscript completely, don't go to cite that one. That's how you can avoid those errors or the whatever I mentioned in the previous slide as a biased citations. And then author should not preferentially cite their own or their friends or the peers or institutions publications. Of course, there is not any strict mandatory rule saying that author should not cite their own work. You should cite your work, but very limited numbers, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 to the maximum extent of only that much if it is very much essential. Okay. Then author should avoid citing work solely from the one particular country. So unfortunately, if you look at the many of the papers as well as many other journals which are either origin of China, or if the authors are origin of China, you'll see in the 60-70 references, at least 80-90% of the research papers are from the same country. So that is unfortunately the China has violated such research ethics. Author should not use an excessive number of citation to support one point. Suppose you are explaining your own work or maybe some small experimental work where 1 or 2 citation is sufficient. Unnecessarily don't give 3, 4, 5 citations for one particular small theme. Then ideally, author should cite sources that have undergone peer review wherever possible. And author should not cite advertisements or editorial materials. So any advertisements related to any of the company, say Sigma Aldrich, they are supplying the chemicals. So something related to their company or some other commercial firms. So that should not be cited. So these are the correct citations which need to be followed. I have another 3 to 4 slides, probably by, I started around 4:17, I think. Madam, by 8 to 10 minutes, I'm going to complete it.
Yes, take your time. No problem.
Then another one is here, the immediacy index. That is nothing but the citations in a given year divided by the number of the articles. So for the H index, what you have done, the articles or the citations of the previous 2 years, right? But immediacy. So here the citations in a given year, in that particular year, that means it is within 1 year. Whereas for the impact factor, we have considered the 2 years. Okay. So that is what immediate or immediacy. This is called as immediacy index divided by the number of articles which are published by that particular journal. And then articles published early in the year have more chances to be cited in the same year. So generally, if the your paper which has published before in the first 3 to 4 months of a year, say let us say up to the April or May, which has been already your paper has been published either in the during the January, February, or up to the May, then there are every chances that by December 31st of 2022, some of the your papers which are published during the January to first 4-5 months, there is chances that they may be cited in the same years. That means your immediately it will appear in the immediately, that can help to improve your immediacy index, immediate index also you can say. Frequently used journals have higher values of the index, and then the journals with the delayed infrequent publications full of preliminary and brief reports, they are the actually disadvantage. May I know from any of the researchers, any of the research scholars, generally once your paper has been published, during how long it will take, what is the maximum period where the maximum citations can be expected? When actually the real citations will start for your published manuscript? It is not only to the science, even to the commerce and the management, all the to all the disciplines. Any idea?
Maybe after a year.
After a year, actually, there will be some citations will be there. As I already mentioned, within first 5-6 months also there may be possibility, but the real citations will be reflected during the. It is noticed that about 2.5 years, around 2.5 years. Before that also there will be definitely papers will be cited, but the maximum citations you can observe during the about after 2 years and 2 to 2.5 years in between. So this graph this can clear. Look here, the time after the publication. Okay, so time after the publication, and that is on the x-axis, and on the y-axis I have put the citations. So this is for the immediacy index. So you can see in the first 1 year, here is the 1 year. This is the first year. Okay, this is the first year. This is the second year. This is the third year. This is the fourth year, fifth, sixth, and so on. Okay, so you can see here in the first year, of course, there is a increase in the citation has started. Then in the second year, there is still increase. Then between the second to third year, in between this one, there is actually the maximum can be observed in this period. That means about 2 to 2.5 years, or between 2 to 3 years here in this region, you can say there will be the maximum can be observed. So this is actually for the immediacy index. That means within the first year. And this is for the impact factor window. That means after the 2 years we'll consider, isn't it, for the impact factor. So this is the immediacy index where it is for the only first year within the same year. So impact factor is for the 2 years from the past 2 years. So this is actually here you can see, and after that also there will be the chances of increase of the citations will be generally it will come down. Maybe due to the various reasons, because already at this level your paper is at this particular level, means within 2 to 3 years your paper has got a wide publicity, and by that time many other people have also started the research in the same discipline. So because of that, other researchers may focus on the different citations, but not your paper as for citing, but maybe from other research groups, or maybe after about 2.5 to 3 years, that research topic may become older, so that the research may be showing the interest in the other latest topic, so that on an average after about 3 years it will go on coming down. See here, it will, of course, even after 10 years, 20 years also, there will be citations will be there, but that will be very, very less. So whatever you get in the first 3 years, that will be the maximum citations you can get for that particular publication. Then the same thing, impact of the review paper. So what are these review papers? Can anyone? Reviews or the review papers. Anyone quickly? Any research scholar?
It gives a comprehensive view of a particular topic.
Yes. So comprehensive review of a particular topic. So it is nothing but where you have to refer hundreds of research papers, and you are highlighting what that particular researcher or what that particular research group, what they have done, what modification was done, in how they have conducted, what is the outcome. So those things. So it is a collection of the research by the others, we can say. That is the reviews. So the advantage of publishing the reviews, one way it will help to increase your research matrix. If you want to increase your research matrix, then you start writing the research review papers, review articles, or the review papers. Of course, we have not started much actually. Of course, most of my majority, I can say 95% of our citations, whatever 6,000 plus, is by the research papers only. In the recent years, in the last 2-3 years only, we have started writing the review articles. But definitely, I hope in the next coming years, so that can boost the citations, our citation. That's what I expect. So the impact of the reviews is, so once again, the one is a full research paper, that is here, full research paper. Then letters to the editor or the letters, that is nothing but a brief research paper only, a very smaller, maybe 3 or 4 pages. There is always, for the letters type manuscript, always there will be page restrictions, 6 pages or 7 pages or only that much. Okay, the full review paper is generally 25-30 pages or like that, and then the reviews are here, again 40 or 50 pages or so. So the time after publication, the impact of these reviews. So on the x-axis, the time after the publication, that is again here 1 year, 2nd year, 3rd year, 4th year, 5th year, so on, and then the citations. So you can see for the letters, because the letters are, and also letters type of manuscripts, they will be published immediately. If there is any urgency in the manuscript, that means something novel work, immediately which you want to get the attention of all the researchers, then publish it or communicate it as a letter. So within 1 or 2 months or 3 months, that manuscript can get published. So here the sudden within the below the within 1 to 2 years itself, you can say there will be sudden increase you can find of the citation, and thereafter slowly it will come down. Similarly, for the full paper, up to about, as I already mentioned, up to 2 to 2.5 years or up to maximum 3 years, this will be in the increasing trend, and after that, that can come down. Then for the review paper, see here, there is the impact will be much higher. The impact for the reviews will be much higher, even up to about 3 to 4 years. Even up to about 3 to 4 years, here is the 4th year, there is still increase, and then gradually there will be decreasing. In case of full papers or in the latter, increasing and then the coming down. The trend will be suddenly in the lower direction. But in the reviews, not like that. There will be gradual decrease. You can see here the slow decrease we can find. That is with respect to the reviews. Last but one slide, I think. Then questionable impact factor. That is nothing but the predatory publishers. They create a market for the new indicators. That means it is only certain, as I mentioned in the beginning, they'll give some journal impact factor or JIF or some other impact factor they'll mention, but that is actually not the true impact factor what Scopus is following. So they are like a predatory publishers. You give some 5,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees, and then within 15 days your publication, your research paper can get published, and they show, just to mislead the authors, the impact factor, the journal impact factor or some impact factor with the value of 3.5, 5.5 like that. And with the payment of 5,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees, the paper can get published within 10 to 15 days. So please don't go for such type of the publications. And also there are also, unfortunately, some of such journals, they claim that they are recognized by UGC or other things. Maybe they might have got some recognition through the UGC, and maybe their recognition may last for 1 or 2 years. And the moment when you publish your paper by giving some 10,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees, and once your paper get publishes, and maybe within a few months or by the next year, they may lose the recognition of the UGC. Then what is the use of those type of publications? It's a waste of money as well as waste of your time. Not only that, it will affect your research matrix. It will affect your research matrix in a negative way. So don't give any importance for such recognitions. Go for a Scopus Index journal, Scopus Index like Elsewhere or Springer. Okay, go for that. The UGC recognized or other recognized, whenever it appears, they will be for short term only. They will not stay for longer duration. So it is of no use, and also it is going to affect your research matrix. So please take care of that. And also fee for impact awards or such whatever they claim impact factor, they also charge a certain amount of some money. No strict and transparent criteria. There is no any criteria to justify their citations by those type of the journals. No any transparency, no any strict rules or regulations. Citations do not count as an impact measure. And unfortunately, the headquarters for many such journals is India or the Poland. So this is actually highlighted at India, highlighted at the international level. You can imagine when this has been highlighted at the international level. So what will be the status of Indian researchers in the abroad? So generally, even nowadays also, many of the editors, when the research publication goes from an Indian author, they look with some suspicion. They look it with some suspicion because of various other issues. Of course, that I will be covering in detail in the next issue. So this is the last slide. So this type of colorful JIF, they show the journal impact factor or universal impact factor or global impact factor. So this is just to mislead the author about impact factor. So you must know actually what is the impact factor and what are these so-called GIF or universal impact factor or journal impact factor, etc. or index corporates, whatever it may be. So you must clearly distinguish that. So generally, the such bogus impact factor companies or such journals, they come with such attractive cover page, colorful cover page. Okay, so please take care of these things. So I think yeah, this was the last slide. If any queries related to today's lecture, you are free to discuss.
Sir, this is Sujay. I have a question with respect to literature review, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, you told about review papers. So when we do our literature review, can we use review papers? And if we can use, how much of it should be review papers? I mean, some percentage.
No, there is actually no any boundary that you have to put this much percent or of review paper. It is not that. There is no any absolutely no such restrictions also. Whatever the relevant thing, review papers you can definitely include. Also the book chapters, reputed book chapters from the Springer, elsewhere, ACS, RSA, those also can be included in your reference. From the book chapters also can be possible, or the review papers published in the journals you can include. There is no any limitations for that in the literature review, but only give the whichever relevant thing. Unnecessarily which are not related to your work, please don't give such type of the references. Yeah. Any other thing?
Are there any queries from the participants? Okay, I just wanted to know, maybe it will be useful to participants also. All these predatory journals give their own journal impact factors. So
Yes,
is there any authentic site which we can rely on for the impact factor of journals?
No, madam. There is no any. Of course, we'll get only the in some of the in Google itself. We can find out some of the journals which have been already marked as a bogus type. We can find out just through the Google some of the list. But some of the such journals only after going through the details of that only we can find out.
I think the Scopus is quite reliable that way.
Scopus or SCI index. So these are quite reliable. So to enter into the Scopus or the SCI or other Web of Science or those type of indexing, so they have to follow certain guidelines strictly. They have to follow for 2 to 3 years. Very strict guidelines will be there. So only after, and it is not for 1 year. It's about 2 or 3 years.
Subsequently for 2-3 years.
Yeah, and only after completing satisfying that, then they can they'll be recognized by or they'll be in the Web of Science or such index, or in the Scopus they can enter. Otherwise, it's not possible. So only with that we can, as of now, we can consider that okay, this is the fine. We can publish in this.
Another thing I have observed is students write maybe communication or a letter, but the number of citations will be very high. They would have cited something like 50-60 articles, which we generally observe in review papers.
Yeah.
So there should be some limit for the citations. depending on it, if it is a journal, full research article or a review paper or a communication article. Is there any restriction as such or limit about the citations?
Yeah, madam. This is a very good question. Really, it's a very good question. Of course, only when we communicate it to the editor, then only from the reviewer side or from the editor, they will indicate that you have included too many references, unnecessary references, and they will suggest us to remove that. So generally for the letters or short communications, approximately about 20-25 references will be very much ideal. For a full paper, about 40 to 50, I can say 40 to 50. And then a typical review article, review paper, or even for the book chapter, where it can go about 70, 80 or 90 also. Relevant thing. Yeah.
That's a general trend we see.
Yeah, madam. Yeah.
Anybody wants to interact with the speaker? Please unmute yourself and talk. So Professor Islur has talked to us about the importance of research metrics. It's a parameter which is going to be implemented for the grant of proposals, or it may be for promotions in your career. But I see that it should be a parameter for self-assessment of our own research output, whether we are good researchers, whether we are successful, whether we can be classified as elite scientists, or whether we are exceptionally good scientists. I think we would know it from our own research metrics. So a lot of information about the H index, I-10 index, and various other metrics has been talked today. And in the first, when Professor Arun delivered his first lecture, when I introduced him for the first time, he had mentioned that he has an H index of 44 and I-10 index of 108, and his citations have been more than 6,000. And I also mentioned that you would know about the importance of these numbers during the course of these lectures. So I'm sure you'll be able to appreciate these numbers and how important, how they reflect on the excellency of the research contributions of Professor Islur. The citation is the citations is 6,391 right now, and it keeps changing every second. So this reflects on the importance of the scientific impact of one's research. And Professor Arun Islur has given us a lot of information about these research metrics, their importance, and how the individual author's metric can be connected with the article metric, and which is in turn connected with the journal metric. How there is this interdependency of all these metrics. And about the citations also, a lot of information has been shared, how important it is to cite the articles, and how can we judge which articles are ideal to be cited in our publications. And a lot of information has been shared. Also, we come into scientific conduct here, whose citations to be included, not doing a favor to your fellow researchers just by citing their articles, unless it is really important to convey something scientific. We need to include the references and not otherwise. So with this, we can conclude this today's session. If anybody wants to come and say something, we can give some time.
I want research scholars to interact more. See, during our period when we were doing research, no such type of we were not even aware of research methodology or what are the research ethics. So that time, but now only the last 8-10 years, the UGC has made it mandatory to about research ethics and this methodology to increase the overall quality of the research by our country. So this is very much essential.
Yes.
So I want you to please come out with any doubts or any clarification. I'll try to answer to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, awareness always helps not
Yeah.
to commit mistakes and to maintain the quality of your research.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah.
Myself, Aswin.
Yeah.
Sir, I wanted to know about author's impact factor you told, right? H index and I-10.
Yeah.
I want to know how to improve that index impact factors for being an individual. How to improve that?
Yeah, it is only the publications. You have to publish more and more papers. You have to publish more and more papers, and most important thing is quality papers, because unless it is your paper is quality oriented or something with the innovative type, or with if it is with a good content, then only the other people can refer, right? The moment when other people start referring, then when they try to mimic your work, or when they try to continue with the same research, so that time they will cite your paper. So the main thing is quality oriented papers you have to come out, and if it is cited by the others, then only otherwise we cannot if I'm just publishing say 50 papers or 100 papers, and if these are not cited, then it is of no use, because that cannot add at all. Because this H index or the I-10 index, these are purely depending on the how many papers have been cited by others. So based on that, hence it is very important to publish the quality papers. So probably in my case, in earlier years, something about 100, 110 plus are which are the crystallographic crystal-based papers. Of course, these are also with the impact factor only. But the thing is, there is no much citations on those things. So what happened now? Out of 268 papers, okay, there may be some of my crystallographic papers, they may be cited 5, 6, 7 times only, even after about 6, 7 years later also. The total citations for each some of the papers, such particularly crystallographic paper, it is 6, 7, 8. It's with a single digit citation. But what happened now? Because of the total overall increase in the paper, so my H indexes came down now. Came down in the sense it has came to 44. Probably if there is some 50 papers would not have been there, those crystallographic papers, suppose. So instead of 268, it will be considered for a 220 or something like that, my papers. Then in such case, my H index would have been at least 55 and above. So I realized that actually in the recent years, and then of course I'm just focusing only on the more and more quality oriented things. And one of some 5-6 years back, one of our MTech student, MTech by research, for him, myself, as well as one of the professor from applied mechanics department. So we have co-guided him. Of course, 98% work he did in our chemistry laboratory only, related to the membranes. And then he was always behind me, sir, I want my publication like that. I said, you complete these studies and then we'll publish. And also our engineering faculty also, he also wanted the publication fast. And what this student he did, he discussed with even though the work was, I am also one of the co-guide, but he discussed with another guide from our engineering department faculty, and he communicated to such, I showed the last slide, universal impact factor or those type. He communicated to them, and within 1 week, his paper got published with 5,000 rupees payment, and he came out with a very nice certificate. He came out with a very nice certificate showing that, sir, it got published. Then it was shocking for me. I said, you did at least, if you, in such case, I would not have prevented you at all. But I don't wanted my name to be in such paper. So that is the thing. So what happens is, even with one such non-reputed journal, non-reputed or non-scopus or such type of the journal, if it is such there are some 8-10 papers means, then that will affect the H index. That will affect your H index. So in order to increase your citations, the best way is quality papers, innovative type papers, and something new should be there in your paper. Then automatically citations will come. I hope it is clear, Azwin.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe
Yeah.
it depends on the implications of the research work. If it
Yes.
is on a pressing problem,
Yes,
then
exactly.
people will be interested. So selection of the research problem also is of importance
Yes, madam.
when you think about increasing your citations. And it's surprising to know that only 20% of the cited papers are actually read by the authors.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is a sad thing. We are supposed to read all the articles and understand them.
Yeah.
And
But unfortunately,
know
they
the
will
relevance.
read very few, and then just based on the title, they will put the
Yeah.
as a citation or citing.
That is not the right thing to do.
One more suggestion I would like to give to all the researchers. So whenever you are communicating to any journal it may be, any reputed journal, please see that include at least some 2-3 citations or the reference paper of the same journal. It may not be yours. Say, let me say, suppose if I want to publish, I want to communicate my research paper to Journal of Membrane Science. Suppose it is one of the very prestigious journal from the elsewhere, with having about 8.5 impact factor. So far, I have already published a few in that, but suppose let us imagine that I have not published any previous paper in that. Out of 35-40 references, I am giving all the some ACS and then some RSC as a references, or maybe some other elsewhere journals with the other one, but not a single paper of Journal of Membrane Science as a reference. So that is like some negative setback to you, because the editors, they will generally go through the reference. Suppose I am the editor of the Journal of Membrane Science. Suppose I receive the paper from Azwin. Miss Azwin, I received that paper, and I look at all the references. Just there is not a single reference. She has not included a single reference of the Journal of Membrane Science. Then I feel that something that she want to publish in our reputed journal, but she is not putting not a single citing of our journal. So I feel a sort of a negative thing. So what you have to do is, you include, whenever you are communicating to the same journal, any such journal, some 3 to 4 references of same journal, latest and relevant, again, you include it. So it will be considered as a favoring point. Suppose if it got rejected and you want to communicate it to the Journal of Chemical Engineering, suppose, right? So what you do, if there is not a single reference of the Journal of Chemical Engineering in that particular your manuscript, include some 2-3 references and then communicate to them. So that is just it's not the assurance that your paper will be get accepted, but yes, that will also give some weightage. It will give some impact, at least some 2-3% impact will be definitely there. Okay. Yeah. Any other thing?
Yeah, another thing is the citations of papers published in open access journals and the citation to papers published in subscription journals. Will they have a difference in weightage?
Yes, madam. What happens is, open access is available to everyone, so that more people will definitely go through those open access journals, so that more researchers, since it will be referred by more number of the researchers,
Yes.
so automatically more citations can be expected. Whereas for the subscription-based channel, the subscription is too high. Even for the online subscription also, sometimes it is $10,000 or like that. So that will be too expensive for any institute to, generally for any institute to subscribe. Such a heavy. That's the reason. Try to, in the open access, since it is available to most of the researchers, so that is always better. But again, sometimes the open access in some journals, to publish it as an open access, there is some heavy APC, that is charges will be there.
Yes.
Heavy charges. So
Yes.
look for those journals where there are no any APC charges. And then you can try to go with the open access.
Okay. Any other comments? Queries?
Any other thing?
Dr. Manjaya wants to interact. We are not able to hear you, Dr. Manjaya. We are not able to hear you. No. No, we are not able to hear you. Maybe you can put your question in the chat box. Somebody wants to know, is it unethical for a researcher publishing a study in any other language after it has been published?
My voice is audible?
Yeah, now it's audible. Professor Manjaya.
Professor Arun?
Yeah, Professor Arun, Professor Manjaya is from Computer Science Department. He wants to interact with you.
Professor Arun? Okay, madam, just I want to
Internet
know.
is, connection is lost. We'll wait for some time, sir. Tell us, sir.
Regarding the patent, what is the weightage of the patent is with respect to the citation? Just I want to know. Patent.
Okay. Okay, let us wait for Arun to join in. Patents are also equally important. They carry the same weightage as journals.
Professor Arun?
Madam, for...
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Professor
Yes, sir, I can hear.
With respect to the patent, what sort of the weightage citation? Just I want to know. More weightage is a patent also? Patent.
For the patents and for the journal articles.
Yeah. So the more than 95% is through the journal articles only. In the patents also one can cite it, but the citation by the patents is very less. Citation by the patents very less.
Not everybody has access to patents. Is that the reason?
Reason is one is again the patents are highly specific to very specific research, and then once again the patents to get published, complete publication, it will take on an average about 3.5 years.
Yes.
For the US patent, whereas for Indian patent it's about nearly 4 years. So after granting of the patent and complete publishing, full publishing of the paper, by that time, in some of the latest technologies like nano research or nano or something related with the materials, there may be the trend of the research after 4 years, 5 years may be slightly different.
Yeah. The graph would be coming down by then.
Yeah, madam. And another thing is, again, the availability of the online downloading facilities also will not be available in all the institutions for the patents.
Yes.
So that is the reason we can find very few such citations based on the patents. more than 97%, I can say it is because of the research papers, publications.
Somebody wants to know, is it ethical for a researcher publishing a study in any other language after it has been published? Maybe you publish it in English. Later on, can you publish the same article in your mother tongue? Or any other?
It can be published with the proper, by taking the copyright from the one is from the, if the same author, even myself, I have wrote in a, suppose let us assume that in English, and the same article I want to have it in the, suppose in the Kannada or maybe in a Chinese language. So whichever journal where I have published in English language or whatever the language it may be, I am the same author, but I have to take the copyright from the editor. That means from that particular journal. Sometimes the copyright may be freely given by the those particular publishers. Sometimes there may be the copyright charges also. So even though I am the author for the translated also, but I need to take the
copyright has to
copyright.
be
Copyright. It is must. Otherwise, it's a highly risky.
So there is a right way to do everything. One should be aware of it and follow the proper conduct.
Yes, madam. Even in the case of when we give some general articles like in Sudha or Taranga or those type, there also we need to follow certain because I'm seeing many of the scientific articles which are appearing. The writer, the author of those which are appearing in Kannada, they are not at all scientific people. They are non-scientific people. They just translate and they'll write. But if really the original author, if they can go for the copyright, and this person will be under problem. But absolutely, in the US, that will be considered as a very severe. But definitely, if I am myself as I am the scientific person, so for me, advantage is I'll analyze that English article, whatever is that, then I'll write in my own by giving additional informations or related to that in Kannada. Then in that case, that will not be I need not take a copyright. But still, it is better I can acknowledge, even in Kannada, those type of general article also. And the copyright related issues if required, maybe next some of the online, not online, but subscription journals. Some of the subscription journal, if it is my article get published in the suppose in the subscription based journal. Suppose in the madam in your university that subscription is not there. Suppose. But in our institute, we have the subscription of that particular journal, or as an author, I got my subscription copy. And then if I can make a Xerox and I'll give it to you and you will keeping it in your library. So that is also not possible. Okay. You can keep it in your personal cabin, you can keep it or with your research group, but it cannot be kept in the public because your university or your institution has not subscribed for that. That is a copyright again. There will be a severe, if they come to know by any chance, a heavy penalty in thousands of dollars they actually put. So even some of the journals which are online, which are available, we cannot take the printout and even for the same thing applicable for some of the books also. Even though it is, we have the Xerox copy of that, but we cannot keep it in the library. But in our personal cabin for the references we can use. But in a library with the library
for the public use, photocopying for public use is not allowed.
That will be a huge crime again. That's about the copyright issue.
Yeah. There will be an embargo period or something. Even in your institution, repository, you are not supposed to keep the copy till a 1 year period or so. Only
exactly.
After that embargo period is over, you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So earlier,
stringent conditions.
In one of my publication, one of the UK professor was he was a co-author of my paper, and then after publishing, then he asked me, Arun, I need the word copy of that one. Then I asked the professor, I have sent him the PDF version of that. And then I said, but he requested again the word in the word format, the abstract at that point. Then he said, Arun, we cannot, I wanted to keep it in our library repository. I cannot keep the
PDF.
The PDF copy which was by the journal. Because of this issue, we have not subscription of that one. It is a crime actually. So you send me the world copy, the abstract and the paper. Then I have sent it him, and then he could able to keep that.
Okay, but is it acceptable?
Yeah, there should not be mention of any journal.
Okay.
That word file we can give it.
Okay, thank you so much for the information.
It's my pleasure, madam.
So I thank on behalf of Mangalore University, on behalf of IQAC, I thank Professor Arun Mislur for taking out the time and sharing with us a lot of information about research metrics. We look forward to one more lecture on this topic. Till then, I would like to say bye. Thank you, everyone,
Okay, madam.
for joining
Thank you.
these
Thanks. Have
classes.
a nice weekend to all of you. Bye.
Thank you.